That was enough that we were recording this. Welcome to Murder Boost, and this is going to be a bigger shit show than normal. Just a little warning now, part of the Slash and Cast podcast network. And besides Josh, before I kill him, we have Andy.
Why are you going to kill me? What? Why?
I'm not killing you, Josh. I love you. Although other people in this Discord call have been driving me to kill them at some point, and then I'm gonna make Brian a sipping, the sipping.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be you, Andy. Yes, our good buddies from Dead in Santa Carla, Andy and Brian.
Hello.
And
Hello. What's going on, guys?
What's up, buddy? And Sean,
Thanks for having us, man. I can only stay for like 20 or 30 minutes, but I appreciate you having me on.
When you guys don't hear me talking for the next hour or so, hour and a half, whatever it ends up being, it's going to be me slamming my head against things because Andy loves trolling me more than most people in the world, and I'm okay with it.
I troll everyone. Don't feel special.
I know.
Don't feel special.
I still remember when you ran me over in that car on Friday the 13th and just thought it was the funniest shit in the world, and I was like, "You asshole!" So I'm one of those people, as everybody, as people who know me know, that when you fuck with me, I give gold reactions. So people who like fucking with other people make me a giant target, which is fine. And that's why I love Andy anyways. So
there you go.
So we have you guys tonight, and we're gonna be doing some foreign horror. I mean, I don't know if you could even call this movie horror, but it's foreign.
Sure.
Foreign.
Yeah, it has horror elements.
It does for sure.
A couple of them, but honestly, it's not.
It's like a ripoff of every single 80s movie smashed up into one.
Yeah.
With a mullet to boot.
Oh God.
The mullet of fire. The mullet of fire.
It also has like 5 different titles too, which is cool.
Yeah, I was trying to like find out what we were actually watching. I was like 1918, Game Over, Saint Noel. I was what? Huh? What's going on?
It's literally
and finding subtitles for it was ridiculous too.
Yeah. We had it's Game Over, Deadly Games, Dial Code Santa Claus are the 3 of the names. I don't know if there are more, but it is
there's a couple more. Yeah, it's oh boy, it has a laundry list.
Well, I was going to say I could be wrong, but when I was watching this, I think that this is a French film, isn't it?
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
It's very French.
Is it? Were they speaking French?
Yeah, they were.
I didn't notice till like 3. Yeah, I was hella blazed. I was only like 3. I was like 3/4.
Yeah, but then all
3/4 through, and so I realized, I'm like, oh, they're speaking fucking French.
Yeah, but what about the music? Like the soundtrack was in English, like making fun of the movie almost. I was like, what is this soundtrack?
Yeah.
This
and those songs were really quality. I tell you.
I love the Eye of the Tiger ripoff. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
I just kept thinking while I'm watching this movie, I'm like, this is like the South Park episode, which is about montages, and like everything was like everything in this movie got a montage, and you're just like, oh my god.
But I wish I was this kid. Like, where the hell does he live? Where he has that like layer in the basement where like Freddy Krueger
lives. A fucking castle, man. It's like, it is. It's huge. It's massive.
I'm pretty sure that was the junkyard from Friday the 13th, or I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3.
Yeah, Nightmare 3
that they were taking Freddy up from.
Right.
So it was.
There were so many homages to.
So does that mean the dog is the villain in the sequel?
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know if he's gonna be fucking people, but I mean, if
was that the grandpa from the last
what?
Silent Night? I swear to God, the Santa was the grandpa from Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like, you're gonna die from a Santa, boy.
But he was very.
And now he's Santa, and he's French, killing people.
Oh, he's very similar. So
I don't know.
Let's talk to you guys about you guys first, and then we'll talk about this insane movie that I'm very like. I had heard things about this movie before today, but man, it was something. So you boys, I know. So I met Andy through Twitter, being Cleveland sports people, and then when he started, you guys started the podcast. I started messaging with him, and like he was asking me some like little things back and forth, but there was all little stuff, and you guys were about 10 episodes in at that point, and I've pretty much listened to every episode of you guys' show since then. So it's
no, thank you.
You guys are one of You guys, I make sure that I listen to, and my podcasts like listening has died down a lot because of 2020. But you're ones that I still listen to on a weekly basis. I haven't made it all the way through Silent Night, Deadly Night yet, but
it was a little bit of a long one.
Yeah,
a long one.
That ran for a little bit.
You guys and Matt get together, and you're like, you can talk.
Geez.
I don't even think I got to you guys talking about the movie, and
well, that's 2 hours and 15 minutes in. So yeah.
That's about
Holy
right.
crap.
Oh man, it was long. Yeah, Matt's a good dude. If you ever have the opportunity to hang out with him, in like a discussion kind of thing, he's a really good guy. He's one of the genuinely good people, and one of the many genuinely good people at Gun Media.
His love of They Live is something that will make me happy because I feel like They Live is one of those like
I'm right there with him too.
Yeah.
That movie.
Hell yeah, dude.
They Live is one of those movies that like I don't think people realize the influences over pop culture that movies had. Like South Park like shot for shot copied the fight scene for that movie.
They did.
Roddy Piper and Keith
David.
Yeah. And so it's just like, and then the whole Duke Nukem line. I'm here to kick ass.
I learned something kind of funny about Keith David. Did you know that he's a graduate from the Juilliard?
No.
Yeah, and it's funny. That's not what's funny, because that's fantastic. But what's funny is when I think of Keith David, I think of a movie with Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen that he played in called Men at Work. So this actor that graduated from Juilliard, when I think of him, I think of the line, "Oh, somebody threw away a perfectly good white boy," and that feels disrespectful to his education.
It's so funny because, like, to me, he's just a John Carpenter. Like,
John Carpenter's just too good, man.
But like, I just think of him in The Thing and like They Live. That's like the two things that I think of him like right away. And I know he's been did so many things.
I think of There's Something About Mary with him every time. He's got a very small part in it as Mary's stepdad, but oh Lord, is he so funny in that?
How'd you get the beans above the frame?
Yeah,
it's
good stuff, man.
I haven't seen that movie in probably 15 years at this point. So it's it's a
good one. It's one of the Fairley Brothers' best, I would say.
Yeah,
it's up there.
That's really good.
Well, it's funny because you go back and comedy is not something that holds up over time. Unlike like horror,
it's very true.
Horror can be like hold up real well depending on when you see it and whatnot. But comedy, man, it could be. Go back and watch Ace Ventura, where it's like pretty funny most of the way through, but you get to the ending and you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
The topics of that movie get real like not 2020 real fast, and you're just like,
I was just having a conversation with my friend about that.
Yeah.
How movies like what do you do now? Because like obviously it was made in a time where stuff was like accepted, and now what do we do? It's like it's in the history books now, right? But
I think you
can't get rid of it.
You two talked about it. Didn't you guys do Monster Squad at some point in the podcast?
No, not yet, but we want to.
You've talked about it at some point.
Oh, we've probably brought the movie up before,
That movie has some scenes also where you're like the language and you're like,
oh God, yeah.
Oh,
the
stuff that doesn't like translate over time. You're like, oh no. But
yeah, I have realized like how many. I didn't. It's funny you guys bring this up because I've realized recently too, in the recent years, how many movies from 80s, even well into the 90s, even early 2000s, some even then, how many movies with lines with a derogatory slur, a gay slur, and it's homophobic slur, and it's like, damn, you don't. I think those days are behind. I think kind of answer Josh's question, like, what do we do now, and how do we like look upon on all that. I think it's one of those things you got to realize that we just didn't know any better. People just didn't know any better. It was a different time. Does it make them bad people because they wrote in that word into a story of a movie? No.
It sucks that we're living in like the cancel culture though. Like everything that happened with like
Josh Banner.
James Gunn and like the whole thing
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. You're right.
but now he's back, and it just goes to show that it was like, oh my god, we were just reacting. And
correct.
fuck, like he is the best person
knee-jerk
for it. They're
reactions.
they're using his script anyways, and then they're like, shit, now what do we do? They're like playing catch up, and it's like, oh, now he's back, but now he's also being able to do DC shit now because it's like, fuck you guys.
Yeah, how long of a delay did that put on? That movie would have came out.
Oh, a year. It delayed it by at least a year.
It's like 2, I think. I think 23 is the earliest that's coming out now. In like,
oh wow,
yeah, because it's not.
I'll watch it.
It's not set to record or film till the end of next year. The end of 20.
That's one of the few Marvel movies that I'm actually super excited to watch because I'm just kind of over it. Like that whole 10-year run, but between Iron Man and Far From Home, that was a blast.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, I'm like fucking tired. I'm tired of watching superheroes fly around, and I'm just over it. Like
the superhero fatigue.
I'll watch like Doctor Strange when that comes out because it's gonna be a horror movie. It's directed by Sam Raimi. I will not watch the Eternals because I don't give a shit. I won't watch the Shang-Chi one. I just don't give a shit. I'll probably watch Moon Knight, the series. Because I was a big Moon Knight fan when I was a kid. But honestly, man, like the Captain Marvel 2, I don't care. I don't even give a fuck about Blade. Honestly, like I wish I did.
Care about Blade. I don't
care about Blade because I liked Wesley Snipes as Blade, and I'm sure Mahershala Ali will do a fine job. I'm sure he's going to do a fantastic job. But
it'll be incredible.
I think the bigger problem with that is going to be it's going to be shot in the Marvel PG-13 thing, and it's going to be like
that's the problem. Yeah, exactly. Because
I agree
not
with
going to
that.
have the grit, you know. If they make it rated R, and it exists kind of like in that Deadpool type of universe,
that's what I was just gonna say.
There you go. I'll probably watch that. Yeah, I'll probably watch it then.
It'll be interesting because I think you have room in that world to do stuff like that, but I don't know how well. I don't think that New Mutants did very well.
No.
Oh no, that
was a shitty shitty movie to start with. Then it got shelved. And then they were like, fuck, rewrite. We got to try and make this work. And it was like, obviously, I still haven't watched it. So I don't know 100% what I'm talking about. But obviously, it's.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it being very good. I just can't.
It was the tail end of Fox.
It was interesting because when they filmed it, they screened it. And the reactions weren't overtly negative. From what I was reading anyway, they weren't overly negative, but everybody just kept saying, well, it really doesn't have an identity. Yeah. So they did reshoots to make it more of a horror movie. Yeah. And then they screened it. And then they said, yeah, it was better the first way. So then they did reshoots again and re-edits to bring back old footage and then change some stuff. And then this is, I guess, what they went with. But from what I'm hearing, it's just
what a fucking
and it sucks because I mean, well, for many reasons, you never want to see a shitty movie. I mean, well, sometimes you do. Sometimes you're just in the mood to watch Jaws for revenge or some shit. You know what I mean? But sometimes you're in the mood for a roaring shark.
You know what?
And
speaking of that, real quick, I learned today, and I don't know if you guys talked about it. I relearned maybe that roar was from a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Did you know that?
You know, after we did that episode, I did hear that. I remember reading that somewhere.
It's from Tom and Jerry sound effect, and I'm like, oh my! It was like a video.
You know, that actually makes the movie a little better.
Yeah. Guys,
being associated with the icons that Tom and Jerry are, that brings it up just a scotch.
I think I tapped out during that movie because that movie might have been the most boring movie I've ever seen in my entire history of watching movies. So,
Jaws 3 is even more boring, I think.
The Jaws 3 has the real awesome special effects of a shark swimming.
The single greatest shot in cinematic history, Andy.
Yes. Oh yeah. When that shark comes to that glass, riveting, beautiful filmmaking, folks. Let me tell you.
Oh my God, it is a nightmare. It is a nightmare. And
it's all bad.
Eventually, I mean, they would have eventually gotten to Jaws 17, like Back to the Future 2 predicted, but never got there after the revenge.
Jaws in space. Jaws in space. I'm telling you, they would have put that motherfucker in a goddamn spacesuit.
Yeah, but now they're just using the mega. That's the new bigger. It's badder. Fucking huge mega shark.
Dude, that movie was real boring. Also, it had okay.
The Meg?
Yeah,
I disagree. I think it's dumb fun, and I kind of enjoy it.
And fun. Like I like Jason Statham, man.
Yeah,
and
man.
I think he's the perfect vessel for a stupid ass movie like that.
Exactly. Yes.
Because he knows what he's doing. Because that's all Fast and the Furious is now. They are so fucking stupid, but they're making trillions of dollars and they don't fucking care. And he's just like, hey, give me a big fucking shark now. Whatever.
I think my problems with that movie were more when your dumbest characters in your entire movie are scientists. It's like Prometheus syndrome, where
okay, I understand. I get you. Yeah, that is true.
I know Prometheus is a fun movie for like what it is, but the scenes where the guys want to pet the furry space snakes, and then when they're
all so fucking.
She's running in the same direction as the giant spacecraft.
Isn't this what you do? Like you act like you've never landed on a planet before.
Yeah. That just makes me so like I don't know. Like when things upset me in horror movies, they get like real like ingrained.
And then all of a sudden they're just having a shower. Like, come on.
Yep. It's like the amount of horror movies, bad horror movies I've seen is immense, but the ones that have stuck with me that like really make me upset over time are things like Jeepers Creepers, because I hate the ending, not to mention all the shit about the director afterwards. But
it's kind of hard to watch those movies and appreciate them at all now.
Yeah.
Even Powder, because I actually really enjoy that movie Powder that he made.
Yeah.
But it's hard to watch that in any kind of positive light at all.
I never saw
He's a
that
fucking
one.
scumbag.
Yep.
I really liked Powder too. I didn't know he did that one.
Yeah. Powder.
Yeah, Victor Salva.
Yeah, he wrote it.
Powder, wrote and directed it.
Dang, I grew up really liking Powder.
Powder
was a good movie.
Powder.
Well,
when I was
fuck
a kid,
that movie.
That was just the generic.
Sorry, Josh, I didn't mean to shit on your childhood, bro. I'm bad, man.
That movie was just the generic like insult for pale people when I was a kid. It was like, hey, Powder, what's up?
That's all you got from it? Oh,
I never saw the goddamn movie.
Oh, you've never seen it? Oh,
yeah, it was just like, hey, Powder, what's up? The generic. And I'm a pretty pale motherfucker, so it's not like I'm not making fun of myself, too.
He's just getting offended by the movie cover. Fuck you, man.
I feel attacked here, motherfuckers. Yeah, so that's like it's the little things with me that like affect me over time. I can watch bad horror movies all day long. I'll watch Jason 10 and just laugh my ass off. But like, there are certain things I have limits.
Good kills in that one though.
Yeah.
There's some good kills. Yeah, there are. There's some really good kills.
For sure.
I started streaming the whole Leprechaun series a couple of months back, and I got to Leprechaun in Space. And the CG, I dropped.
It's a good decision.
If I didn't have like kids roaming down during the day, I would have like more horror movies.
Yeah. Just have the crazy shit on there. We got to do
like this movie or like Silent Night, Deadly Night in the house when kids are awake. Fuck, that would be.
This movie wouldn't be too bad to have with kids around. There's not that much violence in it.
No, this one's pretty.
Although it does do.
He fucking throat slashes a dog for God's sake.
I know. That would devastate the shit out of those kids.
Mom, what's Santa doing to Wolfie?
Poor JR.
Yeah.
Come on, kids, let's pile around. Santa's gonna kill his dog. Look.
Oh.
That was like the worst part of the movie, like the most horrific part for sure. Like the way it was, but the way this movie was filmed, by the way, was so good. Like all those wide shots and like the crazy lighting and stuff. Like this was really well done and artistic.
Those are easily the strongest things about this movie. Is the aesthetically, it's got a really cool look. It's got the production design is pretty righteous, honestly. And you're right. There's some really good wide shots in this movie. There really is.
Was I the only one who, at times, there were certain shots during this movie that it felt like it turned into a TV movie, though?
Yeah, totally. Like super.
I think that's. Yeah, I think you're right.
But like
with the mom, especially. Like,
yeah,
I think that's to do with lighting as well. Like I was just looking at
for sure.
like old calendar from like I don't know. My father-in-law gave me the Calgary Flames, and I was like, "Who the fuck do you pay to get cheesy ass shots that look this terrible?
yeah.
Like it just looks like everyone looks that like super cheesy look to it,
Yeah.
and it's exactly what you're talking about in this. I think it might have just been that like time, and that's the way they lit things, or
Could be. It did have that glamour shot effect over the whole thing, almost.
Well, they take
with the soundtrack as well, right? Like it all went to the aesthetic. So like I don't know if they were like trying to translate every single like American movie experience into one French movie, but that's what it felt like to me, man. Like it was like a action movie, then it was like a comedy, then it was like kind of a Santa movie, and then I was like, what is happening?
My question for this the little kid in this movie is, how many times has this kid watched Commando? Because I swear this kid has watched Commando 98 times. Because
he is Commando. What are you talking about?
He does.
It's pretty fantastic.
He does the makeup. All he needs to do is like cut his own arm or whatever Arnold does in Commando, right? Like he's just like, it is.
What is that heads-up display thing he's got on his arm? It's dope.
He is.
It's
John
pretty
Cena.
advanced for 1990
He
France.
is.
I love Power Glove.
I mean, he's got. They are extraordinarily wealthy. Like his mom.
Oh yeah.
They imply she's like running a bunch of like toy stores in Paris, and like they live in quite possibly one of the biggest houses I've ever seen. I mean, it wasn't quite as big as the Michael Myers mansion that they came back to in 5, but
I love the stop motion of it.
Yeah.
It was cool.
I wonder, like, there's certain things about this movie that I wonder, again, and we talked about it, when you do foreign movies, like what translates like culturally, like how creepy this motherfucker they picked up to be like the main villain in this movie, and you're like, this dude seems like the most Chester the Molester motherfucker that I.
Oh yeah.
And how they started the movie out, and he just comes and is like, I want to throw snowballs too, and they're all like, fuck, get the hell away from me.
It reminds me of like, like the childish kind of like killers in movies, even like things like Victor Crowley and like even kind of Jason at points, like where it's just like they have this childlike aspect to them, and you go, are they trying to make it seem like this guy is like regressed or something like that? Like, he's very odd, that like, and you don't quite.
But he had so much anger the entire time. Like, what was his motive? I didn't understand why he chose them whatsoever. There was no explanation.
Off that she fired him. He got pissed off that she fired him.
There's that, but he also had the scene where he calls him on the Santa message board, and he starts like, he's like, one little kid, don't start talking to strange old men on the internet.
Well, yeah, and what is that internet thing where you got to put coins in? And he's like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
It's 1990. I don't know, like the internet was still not like a real thing, but it seems like just pure money, because it seems like that was taking. I mean, it seems like the whole thing is in Paris, right? And Paris is just money.
Yeah, but that's what the whole story is like teetering on. Is that one scene where he runs out of money at this like little chat ATM thing in the middle of a outdoor play? Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, it's like in the middle of like a downtown like plaza. Like it's pretty odd. It's weird.
Yeah. Again,
but that's where it's like that's where it doesn't translate to us. We're like, oh,
yeah. I think it's contextual. Again, Go ahead, Andy.
This movie's just fucking this movie's just fucking bonkers. I mean, we really like look at it for what it is. Like this story, like the story's fucking bonkers. It's literally what came to my mind was this is literally a Taxi Driver, Die Hard, and Home Alone love child.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this feels like a lot of the times. And it's funny, it came out before Home Alone.
Yeah.
Honestly, no bullshit. Did Home Alone kind of rip this movie off? That's the rumor going around the internet the last couple years.
Game Over.
That's the rumors.
The original, I think, might be the original title, is quoted as 1989. So if someone on that fucking team saw it, you could have completely ripped it off.
Yeah.
Did John Hughes rip this shit off? Because John Hughes wrote Home Alone, right?
Yeah,
he did.
He wrote it.
Yeah,
And Columbus
directed. Yeah, Columbus directed. Yeah, who's from Warren, by the way, right? I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
Alone is just too fucking good.
Can't
touch it.
It's way it holds together way better than this does. Like
100%. Yeah.
I also like.
Yeah, it's not even fucking close.
The weird things with this movie. There's so many of them.
Movie, by the way, this movie was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it was.
Also, the other thing that this movie reminded me of, it kind of reminded me of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory because of the grandpa.
I can see it.
Yeah. Like
I love watching blind ass grandpa run around.
He was pretty good. I thought Grandpa was pretty solid, actually.
Yeah, he did a good.
Man, that was some funny shit.
For the limited stuff they gave him, he did a pretty good job. Also, this is a side note, and it's way further into the movie. The kid set the motherfucker on fire, and then it was like not acknowledged that he got set on fire ever again. Like it looks like he set him on fire, and then he's just like chasing.
What was that like little tiny bit? Like the makeup changed so drastically.
Yeah.
When they were like running towards the end, it was like obviously it was another day, but like they did not give a shit about content.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Tiny bit of fucking dirt on his face. All of a sudden, I was like, "What happened?"
And
I feel like this. I mean, this movie was really playing off stereotypes from different genres and film too. Like they're definitely playing off the '80s action.
Yeah, man. He had that. That fantastic montage when he got up and he was working out and jacked and shit.
With the bootleg Eye of the Tiger.
Good music.
Yeah, exactly.
Like they had it down. Like they were ripping it off perfectly for me. But some of the other music, it just like it makes you go like, what? How does this fit into the movie? I don't understand.
Often felt like they didn't match the tone of what was happening on the screen.
No,
like, it was like.
It was kind of funny. It was over the place.
I feel like that happens in foreign movies where that's what they're used to hearing, and we're, we have a different soundtrack in North America that we.
Yeah.
That's just could be a translation thing.
Yeah, and it did little things. I was laughing, like when he starts painting his beard with the snow.
I love that scene so much because he was like so into.
I did. He was into it, man.
Yeah,
dude, he was hell. That actor was hella into that scene, man. He was loving it. He did a good job.
The guy almost reminded me of a caveman. Like he should have been in like an extra in Encino Man. Like he had very like. Very like strong brow lines and everything like that, and he's like,
brow game was real strong. Rob. There's no,
I will say that
the teeth too, like his smile was like,
huge.
I'll say that when after he was all decked out and showed up at the house, there was some pretty good shots of him though, man. Like he actually looked kind of cool when he in full costume with the hood up and everything.
So. Yeah,
they were definitely on the music video. Yeah,
like,
there was moments where he
like
looked pretty fucking rad.
Like,
it
was 1990. Like, I don't know how big cameras or how small, but they were doing stuff that like we're going through like I don't know, like that pan down shot by the fireplace, and it went through the like arm of. I was like, you gotta have a pretty small camera to pull that kind of shot off. I was like, this was like 1990.
The house
pretty
is huge.
Impressive, right?
The house is huge. I think he gave him a lot of room to like use the space.
But like really, they were doing some interesting things with the camera, and that's why I was like really fucking into this movie.
Also, did anyone else look at the cover of this movie or the poster of this movie and think it was
seen a few different ones?
The one that's like on IMDb looks like a Japanese poster kind of.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like a video game cover.
It says like 365 or something on that, and it's like
that's one of the many. It's 3615 code Pere Noel.
Yeah,
one of the fucking 5 titles.
And
it's also there's also called Hide and Freak somewhere too. By the way, guys,
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is a French film.
Why Why is there a teddy bear by his feet on this poster? Is my next question.
I'm looking at the exact same.
know.
Wondering the exact same thing, bro.
What was with the train? Was he trying to send it over to him, and then it was gonna? Oh wait, no, it did explode. But like
exploded later, yeah. It
You
was.
think he wasn't gonna see it or something? I guess that was a last ditch effort.
Yeah, I don't know at this point, and that was.
It was kind of a little long, and then he's just like,
yeah, that whole sequence was drawn out just a little bit.
I think there were scenes in this movie that went a little bit too long. Like the whole I don't know why. Like, why did they show him carrying the dead dog down the stairs at like the end?
Hey, that was that part of that montage, man. That's what they did in the they were borrowing from 80s action movies from America, and they had to have that montage shot midway through where the song was playing, and the over dramatic shot of him burying his dog in the basement. And that was tragic stuff, bro.
Dude, that Deadly Games poster where he's holding the kid in his hand looks dope.
I don't know if I saw
yeah,
that
there's
one.
some pretty cool ones actually.
That's what's the thing that's cool, like, because you do something like that, and you're with all these titles, that means you're gonna have posters and like media for every single one of these names, right? And so
I'm about to make another one tonight. Bust out Photoshop, and I'm just gonna go to town.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, the whole. I think he's one of the cooler Santa killer looks I've seen in some of these movies. I mean, I know you guys just talked about it. We talked about it, Silent Night, Deadly Night. He's got that pretty iconic look because it's a Santa Claus with a beard pulled down, with a real young looking face. But this guy has
super kid face.
Yeah, this guy has a pretty like hardcore, like, he paints himself all his hair white to look like Santa and just have that like kind of iconic looking look, with which you can really compare to a slasher, because it's kind of like he's like a slasher villain, even though this isn't a slasher. It's got slash elements in it.
It's interesting though, because there's like several body reveals that we didn't even see the kills.
Yeah, well,
I did that a lot back in the day.
Yeah,
they don't do that anymore. Like we need to see, and even if something does happen in like a new age movie, we'll usually get to see the sequence of what happened, because like the audience will be like, "What the fuck?"
Well,
yeah,
it took me a minute to figure out when he showed up and knocked on the door. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then I realized later on that it was the caretaker's house. Like that that there was another house in front of it, because this house is it's just a
massive.
Yeah,
the house is so big it has little kids, and the little kid houses live in front of the house, so the big house can keep an eye on the little kid houses. It's fucking huge.
Yeah, it's
castle from a Disney movie.
All you got to do is own about three French Kmarts. You can buy a castle. All right? I'm telling you.
Apparently, with its own traps built into it.
Yeah,
so nonchalant about everything. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna.
Dude, and
they said there's 17 rooms in that house. They said there's 17 rooms. When there was some dialogue.
Yeah,
17 rooms in the house.
And that
I kind of like the kid. You guys like the kid?
Anything. Bye.
What'd you say?
I kind of like the kid Thomas. Thomas, do you guys like the kid?
I think he did a good job.
He's our main protagonist.
He did a good job for what like he had to, and I think there were. I kind of laughed when he starts like crying for his mama at the end, or he's like, "Mommy," and it's like.
But then he's got the crutch and stuff. Like he was hardcore.
Yeah.
Man, like
I forgot all about that for a second. He did. He strapped a whole fucking what the fuck was that
like
again?
Side of a bed.
He broke a chair and used one of the chair legs as like a crutch.
Yeah, I was like,
tied it to his leg because he got fucking shot. This kid is hardcore.
He didn't get shot. He got slashed.
He is.
Yeah, he got slashed.
In the leg. Yeah, right.
Also, I have to admit, like, this movie has one of the most unique slasher killing. He's got like a cake serving knife that he's killing her with. It's like,
I like it though. It's unique, and
it is unique. That is very true.
It's not something I've ever seen in a movie. Like, also, like, we talk about tone and everything with this movie. I feel like there were like 4 different tones. Like, it was like this lighthearted family thing with him and his grandpa. A slasher movie, like this panicking mother movie, and then like maybe only 3, but it was the different sets of what was it like. It translated weird because like when the dog got killed, like we were talking about, it's a very like uptick in violence compared to the rest of the movie, and then
huge, yeah. That's when because I mean, at that way up until that point, all we've seen this guy do is just act creepy.
Yeah,
you know,
it was pretty PG, and then all of a sudden, it was like,
all of a sudden, Thomas is under the table and he's excited as shit because he thinks he sees Santa.
Yeah.
And then the dog knows something's up, man. JR was a good fucking dog.
Yeah,
I love that scene up until RJ gets it. That whole how that all plays out, because you're right, Brian, because he's like super excited like about Santa. That's the whole build up here.
Yeah,
and he's finally actually sees him because he's gonna stay up and see him after mom told him not to.
Yeah.
Listen to your mom, kids.
This is what you get.
No shit.
Yeah.
So like, but it's all good until RJ gets it.
Yeah. JR.
Or JR, whatever. Is it JR? Probably.
It's JR.
Yeah. But
yeah,
they bring him back to a real dog at the end, and he's all drugged out, and like, I was like,
when he's carrying him later, and his tongue is hanging out,
man.
I was like, oh my god,
this is like
these people fucking went there.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's not 2020, man.
No,
That's very 2020.
2020 had The Last of Us 2. And Last of Us 2, you were getting attacked by dogs and you had to shoot dogs.
That was a video game, not a real fucking dog, dude.
I know what I'm saying is
I'm convinced they killed a dog for this movie, guys. They
really stabbed him with a cake knife because they
did. It was devastating. That's how they got all that emotion out of Thomas so quick. He didn't know they were going to do that.
I'll tell you,
they got emotion out of me.
No, the kid, the dude playing Thomas, man, his name's Lane Lane. I don't know how the fuck you say it, but whatever. Dude, I was looking at his IMDb. He went on to be a fucking working. He's a visual effects producer in the business. Visual effects producer are the ones that kind of coordinate and hire all your special effects people, all your visual effects people.
Nice.
He was a visual effects producer on Dark Knight, Splice, Avatar. I mean, those are some heavy hit. The Revenant.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, dude. X-Men Dark Phoenix was his latest one. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
Oh, that's kind of a turd, but that's just pretty good.
Dude, Edge of Tomorrow, so good. I can't wait.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow is another one he did.
Badass.
Yeah, he did that one too. So yeah, he was the visual effects producer on all those films. That's pretty cool.
And those are all like ones that you don't think of having weird. I guess Splice's CG's a little strange in the
I've actually not seen that. I've not seen that yet. It's Adrian Brody's in that movie, right?
Adrian Brody and weird elements of fucking like incest kind of things. And
I kind of like Splice.
I liked it.
I've never seen it. I need to watch it.
I watched
it. It is a little whack.
I watched it with my wife when he started like the whole like the fucking scene at the end, and my wife and I were like, "What the fuck is going on with this goddamn?"
It was kind of like a meh movie.
Yeah.
Well, you guys sold me, I tell you.
It seemed like it tried too hard. Is what it was. Yeah. But no, the special effects in it and stuff were cool. It's
2009. I don't know. I'm trying to think back to what was going on in 2000. I feel like there was like a stretch of time where there was just kind of like, man, what the fuck happened to horror movies?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was like.
Well, the 90s was like that because every horror franchise got bought by Dimension, it seems, and then they were all Blockbuster exclusive home video releases and shit. And
well, I mean,
the 90s was a really rough, and some of the early 2000s was kind of rough.
You guys talked about it when you did your Scream episode.
The early 2000s sucked too.
Yeah,
but I loved Scream, man. Scream was
really you're right, and it's a classic. But then a million writers thought they could just write a Scream script, and then one of them ended up being a fucking Halloween movie. So I mean, Scream was while being a classic, it created a lot of fucking knockoffs.
Of course,
so many of them.
Well, then those movies.
Anytime you do anything new, you're gonna
look what this motherfucking movie did. It created a Home Alone franchise. Shit.
It did. It did.
Disney Plus has all the movies on it because they were all Fox movies, so now Disney owns them. And there's like 5 of them, and I'm like, what the fuck? And
there's 5 Home Alone movies?
Yeah.
The last 3 were direct to video.
They're doing another
shit.
And they're rebooting with the
cousin or something.
Yeah,
they're rebooting the Home Alone
yeah,
franchise.
and with the little fat kid from Jojo Rabbit is going to be the main character in the movie.
Are you kidding?
No, the little best friend is the.
Wow.
How can they do that?
Because
what you mean, man? They remade Total Recall. They'll do
You
anything.
can't fucking do that. Stop doing stuff. As long as they don't.
It's because Disney owns them.
Leave Back to the Future alone. That's all I care about. Just don't touch Back to the Future.
I will not watch. I can promise you that I would never watch a fucking Back to the Future reboot. I would never watch that. Just like I've never watched Poltergeist the reboot.
Yeah,
I've never seen that. I refuse to watch it.
Disney's rebooting Home Alone. They're rebooting Predator. They're rebooting Alien in multiple formats. It seems like
they're rebooting Predator.
Yeah,
dude, Alien
was that new one that bad?
Right?
Have you seen the new one?
Yeah, I've seen the new one. Was it that bad?
It was.
Was it reboot worthy? You think?
It was the worst Predator movie besides maybe the second Aliens versus Predator movie.
As long as they give Terminator a good 10 years to just fuck off for a bit, so we can just worry about a terrible Terminator movie for a bit, and then maybe
like the last one.
I didn't. I lost all hope on Terminator.
I like Dark Fate. I thought it was pretty good. Actually,
I haven't watched it because I heard about the twist.
Is that the newest one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
It did the best thing in the franchise in fucking first 10 minutes of the movie.
If that's what I think it is, that's why I never watched it.
What?
What did it do?
The spoiler alert.
It killed John Connor because I can't stand that kid.
Yeah, they used.
I'm one of the rare people.
Eddie Furlong do to you? I gotta know.
I'm in the very, very minority. I don't like T2. I'm in the very huge minority. I know that. Yeah, I'm like one of like literally maybe 5 whole people on this planet that doesn't care for Terminator 2. I don't like it. And I hate, and it's because I cannot stand Edward Furlong in that movie. I fucking hate John Connor. I wanted to punch him in the face the whole fucking time. He was irritating the shit out of me.
I can't.
Ryan's a very compassionate person for this orphan child.
Yeah.
Everyone died, and then you're gonna hate on him. He was dealing with a crazy mother who's been committed, and
but then we got to the real hero, Linda fucking Hamilton.
In Brian's world, that child should behave normally. Apparently,
I can't stand that fucking kid. The sound of his voice made me want to punch a baby. I swear to God.
I've been plenty of there's a YouTuber I watch who does reviews of B movies, and Brandon Tenold. He's the one who did I think he has a lot to do with those the sci-fi documentary that came out and the horror documentaries that have been coming out. Into the Darkness. He had a lot to do with those, I think. He calls little annoying.
In Search of Darkness, you mean?
In Search of Darkness, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, fantastic.
The Star Trek sequel. Hell yeah.
God damn it. He calls annoying little kids in the Japanese movies like Godzilla and Mothra. He calls them Kennys. So you're just basically saying he's a Kenny because you want to kill him.
I'm trying to listen, Rod, but Andy's dying on screen right now.
Good.
Andy doesn't know where he is. It's okay.
Rod, hurry up! I only got like 3 minutes left. I'm kidding. No, but go ahead.
Your screen just got so much more green. It's so crazy. It's just like all green now. What?
God damn it! God damn it! God damn it! How?
Well, anyway, Star Trek Into the Darkness. What were we talking about?
Okay, let's go over this movie and kind of go over what actually happens in it, because we've gone all over it, but the plot is really kind of awkward. Not awkward, but it's a little weird for today, and but I like it. I think it was weird, but I liked it.
Well, I thought it worked out. I never thought that anyone could replace William Shatner's shoes, but I felt Chris Pine did a good job. And he kind of brings it. What's going? What? Hello.
I can't talk too long. I gotta poo.
God damn it, Andy. God damn it. We're not talking about Star Trek. We're not talking about Star Trek. We're going to talk about Deadly Games, Game Over, Dial Code, Santa Claus again. We're going to talk about that
Hide
movie.
and Freak.
Yes.
Hide and Freak. Yes.
Not
Hide and Freak. Yeah. I'm talking about Hide and Freak. I don't know you guys.
Who picked this movie? Who
It
figured
was
this one out?
Andy
I think
and
it was
Brian.
kind of me, actually.
Yeah, I think Brian picked it out.
And I picked it, Rod, because you'd been watching like a lot of like horror, like foreign horror films and foreign films in general. And I was like, well, it's kind of been your thing lately, and then I was like, that's fucking holiday season too. So, and most of us have Shudder, so I was just like, it'd be a good pick,
Yeah. Oh no, it was definitely because this was one of those movies that like.
It was amazing.
I guess
so glad.
We have a right by me. There's a Alamo Draft House, which isn't open right now, but I work with a bunch of younger, like in their early mid-20s kids. And like one of them went and saw this at Alamo Draft House last year and was like, "Oh my god!" And he was like telling me about it. I was like, "I have to watch this," and never actually ended up watching it till now because it's been on Shudder most of the last year. But
yeah, they added it. If memory serves me correctly, they added it like right before the holiday last year.
Yeah,
or right after, one of the two. I think it was right before.
Yeah, so this you were talking about this. There are rumors. Andy, maybe you said it. This movie is rumored to inspire Home Alone because it has a very similar storyline in a lot of it. It's a home invasion movie.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of the horror movies I've watched from France are home invasion. Like I think They is another one I've seen of theirs. That was another home invasion movie.
High Tension.
High Tension.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
That one stuck with me more than most horror movies for some reason.
That movie,
like that whole scene where he's like stuck in the closet. That guy just got decapitated on the stairs. It's like it's so crazy. I was just like, holy shit, what am I watching? Like this is actually like horrific.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then it turns into a real cool like chase / movie, which
with
is
the huge saw and everything. Yeah. That was pretty cool movie.
It's French horror goes to the pretty extremes, like when you go into real French horror, because I still haven't seen it, but Martyrs is one of those movies that is like
it's a good movie too.
Yeah, notorious for the level of violence.
That's excellent. Martyrs is excellent. It really is.
They remade it in America, and I'm not gonna.
They did.
Yeah, but
they keep doing that. We keep talking about that, and like boy always gets brought into them too. It's just
Brian also hated Old Boy, so he was not.
I haven't seen it.
Didn't dig it that much. I wanted to like it, but I thought it was.
I feel like that might be one of those things that happens to me.
Yeah.
You'll probably like it. I don't know why.
I'm hoping.
Yeah. Most everybody I know really loves Old Boy, but I just thought it was okay. I mean,
silly man,
Well, I'm not gonna lie. This movie's Deadly Games is fucking bonkers, and honestly, I would watch an American remake of this.
Yeah.
I would watch.
I think you did. It's called Home Alone.
They should remake this and put Brad Pitt in the role of this kid, like still fucking right now.
Bonkers is the perfect
a more darker, like a darker horror version of Home Alone.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of
they've done that too already. I don't know if you've watched.
Better watch out.
Better watch out. Yeah.
Better watch out.
Yeah, we talked about that one time.
Yeah, we talked about that last year, but like. I'm talking about with Santa, not with like the whole plot of this, like the whole thing, like a crazy person dressed up as Santa, like a Santa serial killer kind of deal. Home Alone,
yeah,
meets Die Hard, meets Taxi Driver, meets Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Putting him in a mansion, they put him in a little fucking 2-bedroom house.
If you stick like you like go like let Blumhouse do it and do a little one like where it's like. As long as
that's what it is, man. Blumhouse came and saved horror. I swear.
I don't disagree with that.
Blumhouse and A24.
They stabilized horror. Let's put it that way. And they kind of laid the blueprint of how to do these movies right to a certain extent.
I think
it's a model that is accepted by the audience and by producers, and like that's it. That's all it needed it to be. And
correct.
Because 1990s and 2000s, it was messed up.
Exactly.
They thought they had to throw millions and millions and millions of dollars at it.
Exactly.
And that's what studio horror was. And now studio horror is like this 8-9 million top out, right? Unless it's a sequel that's
10. You know, I think even Halloween 2018 was like I think $15 million budget.
It was
10?
either 12
That's
or
a
15.
big
It was
ticket.
something like that. Yeah.
And how much of
10
that
to
was
15.
how much of that was Jamie Lee Curtis's?
Yeah, well, exactly. Right?
Probably all of it.
She got points on that. She got executive producer credit on that. She got
Yeah.
big points on that.
I mean,
Yeah, she's got big.
You guys talked about when you talked about Halloween. That's why Donald Pleasant did the original Halloween, because of just like he was like, I'll take $30,000 for working for a week.
Yeah,
or
why
whatever it
not?
was.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Poor Jordan Downey could have made 5 movies with Donald Pleasant's salary from Halloween.
Oh, gobble gobble, motherfucker. We're gonna
Listen, man, $25K will get you one day on the set of Gary Busey to do Ginger Dead Man. So don't.
Hey, don't forget about the weird candy and the RV that needs to pick him up too.
You guys talked more about his candy than you think. I think you talked about Gary Busey's performance.
He did that shit in one day. I mean, there's really not much to talk about.
Gary Busey did some really cool horror element things, like he did Predator 2, but man, that motherfucker went real crazy, especially after his he had a stroke or something, right? Or like
he had a bad motorcycle accident. I thought.
Yeah, something, maybe both. I don't.
Something went wrong with him, and he's been wonky ever since. But Ginger Dead Man came way before even that happened. So yeah.
Oh, he's good. He was really funny on a couple Entourage episodes. He made a couple guest spots on Entourage as himself. He was very funny in that. But yeah, this movie is this Deadly Games is interesting. I don't know. It's just bonkers. It's fun. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the biggest foreign film fan, and it's not that they're not quality or anything. It has nothing to do with that. I have really bad ADD and ADHD. I hate reading a movie. That's all it is. Because it takes for me as a way I watch movies, it takes away from what I'm seeing on screen because I'm too busy reading the fucking thing. I mean, there's been a lot of good ones. This was an easy watch for me. Like, this was not a terrible watch by any sense of the word. This was actually a pretty entertaining watch.
It was like what, an hour and like 30 something minutes. So
visuals are fucking money though, man. Like they were having a fucking blast making like it looked like an 80s, I don't know, not even
it did everything. Like, let's go into it. We can start so the movie is, the opening scene is it's the guy with the kids, or is it the montage and then goes into that?
I think it goes the guy with the kids wanting to play snowball, and then it goes into the dope ass Eye of the Tiger ripoff montage.
Who ends up being the villain of the movie is this. He just looks like a stereotypical homeless guy, kind of.
He's a hobo.
Yeah,
he looks like a hobo. He's just wandering the streets and wants to throw snowballs at fucking kids.
And the little kids are like,
don't we all though, Josh?
They're like,
come on, man. Why you guys hey?
My favorite part is he starts throwing snowballs, and the kids are like, "Fuck this dude! He's not part." What did they say? He's not part of the gang, and they just go, "Fuck this guy! We're leaving." And it's just like the guy is.
Well, no, they're like, "Who the hell's this creepy dude?"
Yeah. They say
the kids knew what was up, man.
Because you don't have random strangers that you sit there and go like, why is this dude just walking? And you go, okay, this dude is just like.
Well, they didn't hear the soundtrack that made him look innocent. They weren't hearing the soundtrack like we were. Okay,
that was all in his head. By the way.
Yeah, I gotta agree, Josh, because when he pops up, like, it's not like menacing sounding at all.
No, it's like Christmas music.
It's not like don don don. You know, it's all.
It makes it look pretty fucking innocent. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and this guy is there's a series of crazy shit this man does before he even goes super crazy, and it's just like, man, this dude is crazy. But like, they start you off slow with him walking up and snowballing. So we go to Thomas, who's
real quick. One tiny quick thing. Did you guys notice the really quick shot of that little girl getting pegged clean in the face with a fucking snowball? That made me laugh my ass off. She just got her whole fucking eye just got straight up dotted, bro. I was like, oh shit. And you could see in her eyes that was not fun.
Yeah.
No.
It's kind of funny though.
They're
way to take one for the team, Colin.
That was like Andy as a small child. Andy would have been about the right age to be one of those kids, and he's just like pegging the little girl with a.
It reminded me of the Peyton Manning SNL thing where he was throwing the footballs at the kids.
Yeah. That's good. Girl. I'm gonna have to go put that on because it is the opening scene. I want to see and look for the I'm bad. Me and Josh are both also super ADHD. Andy, I often miss those things that are in the background. Like
it was pretty funny.
I always miss.
I was having trouble syncing up the subtitles, so I had to start the movie a few times to get it synced up properly. So I saw that her get pegged in the face like maybe 7 times.
I watched it 10 times, but everything was fine on my end. I just kept backing it up.
I don't know what the hell is going on with these fucking.
Brian's just like imagining pegging his own children in the face with a snowball.
I know. I watched it. I was like, "Oh shit! Hey kids, let's go outside." We don't have snowballs. So I got a bucket of baseballs out here. No, I'm just playing.
Well, the best part is they're playing like in the middle of like these these European streets that are like they're like 7 feet wide. Oh, we're gonna get to the croissants in a second here. So then we switch over to this fucking mansion. We talked about it a bunch already. This is one of the biggest houses I've ever seen in my entire life. Like that, like normal. This is like Versailles, but like a little more manageable. Like this is one of the biggest houses I've ever seen, and like it's like the stereotypical rich French house. And this kid is waking up. He has an airplane in his playroom.
He has an airplane that he sleeps in.
Yeah. In the cockpit.
His dog JR is co-pilot. It's pretty awesome shit.
Yeah, and
his dog wears goggles.
Yeah.
It's like every it's just it's every movie or every stereotype like turned up to fucking 11.
Yeah. The kid has the coolest toys I've ever seen in my entire life. Like he's got like an AK-47 that looks like an AK-47. He's got every gun that looks like a gun that's shooting darts and all this shit. And and
the trap door, like what the fuck was that trap door? That was the best, man.
I don't know how that happened. And
you guys didn't have a trap door in your house when you were growing up?
I guess not.
Seriously, man.
I mean, Andy had one where he kept bodies, but like that was only he knew about that one. So
I'm telling you, man, you guys missed out. It was fun.
So this kid goes full commando. Like we were talking about, I brought it before. The kid, it's a scene out of Commando. He's like drawing lines on his arms and his face.
It's awesome.
And is like
that was me.
That was
me at that. Oh, I mean, yeah, of course, doing that shit. Yeah,
Commando is an amazing movie, but this, it is.
This kid's got a good childhood, dude.
Yeah, he's like playing around.
He's a nice kid, too, by the way. He's a nice kid.
Yeah, he's not a brat or anything, too. It's nice.
His little friend's a way bigger dick than him. His little friend's an asshole. But he's playing around the house, and he's like, and his mom's like, "Okay, you got to go eat breakfast now." And she's like, "Go get your grandpa." He like jumps off of his grandfather's bed, who's sleeping, who is like 900 years old. He like, I go back to the Willy Wonka grandpa kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he handcuffs himself to the grandpa to pull him down to breakfast.
He does.
And he walks in and he's like, "Hey, I got a half-blind diabetic person."
Yeah.
And his mom's like, "Show some respect." And the grandpa's like, "Hey,
somebody order a half-blind diabetic cripple."
And the mom's like, "Show respect." And the grandpa's like, "He ain't wrong." I mean,
yeah, he says he's not wrong.
The grandpa was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He was.
Well, at the point later in the movie where he's in the suit of armor, like it's in like a Three Stooges episode, I'm like, what the fuck?
What is he? Yeah, there's this point where he says, like, "All right, don't go anywhere, Grandpa." And Grandpa's like, "It would be pretty difficult to move."
Yeah. Well, they show his eyesight multiple times in the movie, and he can't see.
He's blind as shit. Yeah.
Because it's a plot point that he's diabetic, right? And you start losing your eyesight with like diabetes when you get like to a certain point, right? It gets like real bad if you don't take care of it, right? And so that's a thing. And Yeah, it's so he bring what is Andy? Is Andy like choking on something? I don't know what's
Are
happening.
you okay, buddy?
And then Andy died.
F's in the chat.
The kid and the grandpa both. I swear to God, they're giving the kid like Ritalin or something like that because I think this is before whatever. As Andy, guys, we're gonna have to just do a funeral for Andy right here.
Yeah. Somebody play taps. Yeah.
At the end of the day, I didn't think it was super fan servicey to bring back Leonard Nimoy to play the old Spock to beat new Spock. I thought that was pretty fucking cool, to be quite honest.
The biggest problem.
I thought it was fucking awesome.
The biggest
I
problem.
like the new Spock.
The biggest problem with that was listening to Leonard Nimoy speak. Like you could hear his dentures while he was talking.
Yeah,
Hear you.
super old at that time.
I'm
not gonna lie, I'm really proud of how we just flowed right into talking about Star Trek.
It's
man.
Andy.
I'm proud of us.
Uh,
That's called being professional, right there, guys.
I go back and listen to Leonard Nimoy's audio in both of those movies, and it is you could hear the dentures the entire time, and it's
but I couldn't hear anything past fucking lens flares. Like J.J. Abrams.
Oh my God, yeah.
Take it easy.
So the kid and the grandpa both have to have their medication, which they never say what it is, and they're like handcuffed together still. And what the kid wants, because after drinking his medication, is a croissant, and his mom throws him.
Great.
She wings it at him. Yeah.
It was the hugest croissant I've ever fucking seen in my life.
It was fucking ginormous. They don't make those. They don't make them that big at Cheddar's, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the most French thing I've ever seen in like ever. It's like throwing croissants around at the breakfast table. Man, it is very, very French. So
They just like saying croissant. They just like saying it. That's why it's so popular. Croissant.
It made me want to go and get a fucking croissant.
Yeah. It made me want
to
go
look tasty.
Burger King, and they have their like.
I was like, I just smoked a huge joint before this movie, and now I fucking don't have a croissant.
Stop making me want croissants, you motherfuckers. I
do have cowboy cookies though.
You still don't know what a cowboy cookie is, because I don't know what the fuck a cowboy cookie is.
All right, we're googling that shit. This is the third time I've heard it, and I want to know what the fuck it is. What's a cowboy cookie?
This transition.
Apparently, it's just a shit mix of stuff.
Yeah.
To like fill you up on the road when you're on a fucking horse or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, when you're going out on the trails with your horse. Cowboy cookie. So the mom ends up having to leave because she's this big executive type thing, and her fuck boy comes and picks her up. I have to say though, I think the mom was way hotter than this dude, and it was now that he's smashing.
That's why they were so successful, man.
Yeah,
she was a good looking mom.
Yeah. Well, there was that weird thing they did in this movie where they dropped the lines about the father, but like it's like they make it.
Yeah, they don't really come back to it at all, because she says, Grandpa says he's definitely his mother's son, basically, and then she goes, and his father's,
and it was like,
but it never goes back to what. So I'm only assuming that his father is John Matrix. Has to be, right? It's got to be John Matrix from Commando. Yeah. So
you know,
definitely John Matrix, if not John Rambo. Okay, it's one of the two.
They didn't show him like watching the movie, like where his influence came. You have to assume that that's just his fucking dad.
It has to be.
It's so playing off the Commando and Rambo tropes. Yeah. It's playing off it so hard. This movie is like not shy about doing that, which leads me like when it's not shy about it and the way that they did it in this.
Yeah,
I definitely take it more as them paying homage to those genres.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. It was like it was very, very. You could tell it was influenced by like just American movies from that point, because the 80s are such a. The 80s were just like masculinity in movies. It was.
It was. Yeah, that was the testosterone decade.
Well, it's when Schwarzenegger became what he was, right? You're like getting stuff like Terminator, Commando, and all the stuff in between. Total Recall.
We still have that with The Rock, right?
Yeah, but not to that extent, because The Rock does it in that family-friendly kind of version of.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
Everything Schwarzenegger was making was rated R, and it was violent, and it was like Predator. It was everything, and that shit doesn't happen anymore. You don't have like R-rated action movies going the way that they do. What, Andy?
No, hardly at all. Andy's dying over there. I wish I was. I wish I was having the conversation Andy's having.
Yeah,
he's right though. Like The Rock, he ain't like taking like saw discs, like discs of like saws, and like throwing them like frisbees and ripping off dudes' scalps and shit.
Yeah,
it's true.
I mean, like, dude, yeah, that was the thing. Like Commando and shit like that, and what we're talking about, those type of movies, they were fucking violent as fuck too, man.
We have, I mean,
those movies got had to get cut back a lot by the MPAA, like a lot of horror films, to be honest.
Well, I mean, we know what
because
happened.
Practical effects were so good and used everywhere in every movie, so it was just that's just what it was. So action movies and horror movies, to be honest, in that time, like Terminator 2, I saw it at an age where that was like my introduction into action and kind of sci-fi and horror, and it was like it was horrific for me because I was younger when I saw it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy!" And but that's why I love that movie, because it was like something that I wasn't supposed to see that young did, and fucking rad.
So with Brian, that was Psycho, because he had to sneak into the theater to see it because Brian's really old, so he went to see Psycho when he was.
I saw, that's funny, and you're accurate. I actually, here's how old I am. I did see Halloween 2 in the movie theater.
Damn. Yeah.
Sort of. I don't remember much of it, but my dad worked at the movie theater on base, because when Halloween 2 came out, I lived in Germany. I lived in Ramstein. My dad was stationed at Ramstein Air Force Base, and my dad worked part-time at the movie theater, and then he could just take like all of us and just go when he went to work. So he would just do that randomly, and no matter what the fuck was playing, it didn't matter. And Halloween 2 was playing one night, and we all went and seen Halloween 2. So that's how old I was. I was walking and talking and shitting on my own when saw Halloween 2 in movie theaters when it came out.
Is it odd that the thing I think of when I think of Halloween 2 right away is the razor blade and the candy apple? Like, it's I don't know why that's what my brain goes to. That's like it's not even, it's like a little kid at the beginning of the movie, or I don't even, like, it's at the very beginning, right? So like,
yeah, it's not at the very beginning. It's pretty close to it's about a couple minutes after the credits roll.
Yeah. But yeah, that's, for some reason, that's what goes into my head with it. So yeah,
that poor fucking bastard. I gotta tell you, that's a horrible way to spend Halloween.
Yeah.
I never understood why people hated on Eric Bana's performance as Nero either. I don't. It doesn't. Never got it. I didn't get it then, and I still don't.
Eric Bana?
Yeah, man. I thought he was awesome. I thought he played. Is it Nero? It's Nero, right? I'm saying it right?
Yes.
Nero? Yeah, man. I thought he played the villain pretty well. I don't know. I remember reading some hate on him about his performance in that.
It wasn't his Hulk performance, but it was up there.
No, you can't even tell it was Eric Bana. Like, literally. Oh, I think the first time.
Yes, Andy. I'm glad that you've turned this into a Star Trek podcast.
No, I swear that'll be the last Star Trek reference. I'm not even a huge Star Trek fan, but for whatever reason, it works. I'm decent.
If he goes another 5 minutes without a Star Trek reference, I would be amazed.
Then they gave it to Justin Long in hopes that he was going to take it and make it another Fast and Furious franchise.
Yeah.
Didn't.
I'm still mad that Quentin Tarantino didn't get to make his Star Trek movie. I thought that would have been dope as fuck. Dope.
Oh yeah.
As fuck, but
we would have saw some Klingons fucking, man.
Or we would have seen their feet at least.
Yeah.
It's a lot of blue feet.
Yeah. Hot fucking beautiful Klingons.
If Tarantino would have made a Star Trek movie, we would have seen some Klingons fucking. That's the takeaway.
That and blue feet. I mean, come on.
And feet fucking, probably.
Also, we would have the discussion: can Klingons say the N-word? Because that's a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh my god.
Oh, here we are.
Oh
The
shit!
stereotypes about Quentin Tarantino. Yeah.
Oh
So
fuck.
little Thomas's
Sam
mother.
Jackson make a great Klingon. All right, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thomas's
No,
little
he would.
his business lady mama goes and gets picked up by her fuck buddy. And she's like, I'll be let back late. And they're like, she's running department stores, and they get to work, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna hire some Santa Claus, some Santa Clauses and throw a party on Christmas Eve. They just decide that they're gonna throw a party for like all their stores.
That's what everyone does in horror movies. Okay.
Yeah, that's a little last minute, I think.
Yeah, just
but
a little.
We did it in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah.
Let's get hammered.
Let's get fucked up, all 5 of us in the middle of the store.
Let's get fucking shit faced.
Finally.
I still want to know where that bow and arrow
so
came
good.
from. Someone want to explain to me where the bow and arrow came from, because I still don't.
Yeah, it was
Top
pretty
shelf.
good.
Top shelf.
Sporting goods.
Yeah.
Store that has that. Just like it's pretty much like the store that sells Chucky, man. Like
It was like a S-Mart. It was a S-Mart.
yeah, it was like
basically,
S-Mart, yeah.
Yeah, Ira's S-Mart. Yeah.
Shop Smart. Shop S-Mart. So at this point, so they're gonna call a bunch of Santa Clauses, and they're gonna hire Santa Clauses. And now we go back to little Thomas and his butt fuck of a friend that is apparently ridden his bike over, because
He's a good friend though.
he's a little asshole.
But he came when he came to help.
in the middle of the night. Okay, how?
It reminded me honestly of what's that? The Jordan Peele one where his friend like comes at the end finally
you mean us?
Yeah, get out. Yeah, get out. Get out. Get out.
Get out,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
get out. Okay.
Kind of reminded me of like the friend coming at the end there. Like
But he came as soon as he got that message.
So
he was on a fucking bike and he had to get up the top of the fucking mansion hill.
Yeah.
In like Adventureland, wherever the fuck they live. Like
so that kid's 10 years old, and it's after midnight. Like right, it's and the kid just leaves his house and nobody notices. I guess he does whatever. But
Rod, did you ever sneak out?
no, I was a good little kid.
See, that's you just don't understand then, because it can fucking be done.
I lived in a township with nothing nearby me, so
so did I, but it didn't keep me from not sneaking out. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
Well, but anywho, I see where you're coming from though. But to say, yeah, he was kind of a little ass. He was kind of a little ass, but he was a good friend, man. He came when his buddy called for help.
Buddy was an asshole because he was the one telling him. He was the one telling him that Santa Claus doesn't exist.
You're right. You're right.
He was that little asshole that was like, "No, Santa isn't real," and the main character was like, "No, he's real." So they go on this Santa Claus message board, which just seems like the pedophile's dream. Like,
yeah, exactly.
He was waiting too on pay.
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to Santa Claus and give him our address, or like, so he could try to come and fuck our little 10-year-old asses. Jesus Christ, man! It's like,
just give me your address.
Yeah, just give me your address. So he's like,
aren't you Santa? Like, don't you have it?
Yeah,
I lost it.
I want to make sure this is our identity check, so we make sure that this is really you little fuck. And
his
yeah, that's
fucking rad.
You guys were talking about it. He's like at a booth in like a mall, like a boutique mall or something. Like on this
outside
message.
It was
board.
outside. Yeah.
Literally outside. It made no sense. I was like, there's snow around.
It was strange. Yeah, it was really weird. I've never seen or heard of anything quite like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like a very, very fancy multi-use payphone.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, hey, not only can you make calls, you can chat on message boards and shit.
Yeah.
It was just really strange. I've never seen anything quite like that.
It kind of reminds me of what they did with hackers a few years later, where they're like,
yeah. They made hacking look like something that's not even remotely like at all.
Through payphones and shit.
They mainstreamed hacking.
It was so amazing.
They put the Michael Bay effect all over it.
Yeah. So they
visualized.
So I do wonder though, because it seems like you guys are talking about he ran out of change while he's trying to get this kid's fucking digits or whatever is happening. He's trying to get his like Santa Claus address and
ASL.
Yeah. ASL. Yes, I'm a 16-year-old female from Paris. What are you talking about? No, this is Santa Claus. So I'm 3,237 years old, and I'm from the North Pole.
Oh, okay, it checks out.
Yep.
Here's
Yeah,
my
it seems
address.
legit.
So at this point, this guy goes and applies for the Santa Claus job that the kid's mom, hired out. And I think that this guy actually handled being Santa Claus worse than Billy from Silent Night.
Yeah, he started groping the girl's face, man.
Slapped,
Like it was
he
super
slapped
creepy.
her, right?
Oh yeah, that was after she outed him as being a fraud.
He slapped the shit of this child right in the middle of the street.
And they're like,
you're a fucking fraud. Fuck you. Look at your stupid beard.
Your beard. She said, I don't like your face.
Yeah, and he was just like, ugh.
Punish! That's all that was missing. Yeah, that's all that was missing. Naughty.
I was like, man, this guy is fuck. Like when you're sitting there in the middle of this public square, it looks like in front of this like store, and you're just going to like smack a little girl. Like now you would have been in jail till like the rest of your life. But
a little bit. Not only would you have lost your job, you would have lost your freedoms too.
Well, that's what makes me
Billy would have kept that little girl in check, though. I'll tell you that much.
He's like, listen here, you little shit.
What are you doing? You're being naughty. I'm gonna punish you. Yeah.
Or the grandpa could have done it. The grandpa could have put her in her place.
All the parents would have been like, he's so good with kids.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What's the secret?
So
good.
I have a question
So
about
good.
how long he was Santa Claus.
Oh my!
How long do you guys think he actually lasted as Santa Claus?
Oh, he didn't last 20 minutes.
Was that the first little girl that like got around? Like
I don't know, but I'd have to assume that it was very early into his shift.
Well, he starts like rubbing her cheek like he wants to fucking kiss her, and it's just like
it's fucking creepy.
Yeah,
it's like full time, like full on creep zone.
Even if he wouldn't have slapped her, I'd like to believe that one of the employees would have been alert and attentive enough to have noticed this, and he probably still would have been fired. I'm just hoping. I want to put my faith in humanity. That somebody would have seen him touching the children mildly inappropriately and fired him.
Well,
even without the
slap. Cake
it was on the table. It was on the table that that Tommy was hiding underneath.
Yeah.
Oh right, rated. Oh yeah, with the dog, and it was weapon.
Yeah. Well,
it was convenient.
They fire him and they go to HR, which is where the fuck buddy works.
Right.
And
fuck buddy.
He goes in and he's like, "Nah, I'm good." And he wanders around their shipping center.
When he gets in there, that's when he overhears the plan to send all of those toys and everything.
To Thomas,
to her son's to her son.
Yeah.
So that's when he hatches his grand scheme immediately.
And then we go back to where the confusion is of how he actually figured out like what it's that weird coincidence that he was trying to cyber sex with the kid while like and then ends up going to the same house.
Yeah, he just by blind sheer luck of the pedophile gods, he ends up.
That's why I was like, why did he choose that house? Like, he didn't even know. He's just all of a sudden there. So I was so confused. And it was
the guy
chimney. You know how fucking high up he had to go to get to that fucking chimney? Yeah. That rope was definitely not tall yet.
Well, it was
no doubt. Because I thought that too, bro.
That's a lot of rope.
You start going, is this a revenge again? Is he trying to revenge the lady who fired him, or is he trying to fuck the little kid?
He knows that she's still at home though. Or still at work rather. So he is there to fuck up the house and everyone.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I'm just assuming he's there to get revenge because she fired him and just happened to hear that. Yeah, it's just bizarre.
I want to assume, right? Like that one little explanation would have gone a long way there. Just it's something, right?
Yeah. Well, and then you go, this motherfucker starts killing people like right away at that point because they get to the house, the caretaker's house, and he goes back to get the presents out, and he chokes the shit out of the Amazon delivery guy.
Yeah.
It's not delivery.
So he's killed one person now, and then he goes in and kills the caretakers, which is like you see the bodies with like little amounts of blood on them, like later on in the movie, and you're like, so this motherfucker went from touching little girls inappropriately to just like choking the shit out of like killing everyone like instantaneously. Yeah. And you go, okay, this is escalated quickly, and he's still in his Santa Claus outfit, which because he obviously didn't actually talk to HR like he was supposed to, and this is where he does his. Where does he get the snow spray from? Is my real question.
I can't remember.
It's amazing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I do like the scene. Yeah.
I just laughed because I was like, why did they show him spray painting all of it?
And it was so long too.
It was, yeah.
Like it stayed on for like maybe 20 seconds too long because he was like, you could almost see him like look at the camera like, actually, okay, so I got to keep going. Oh, okay.
You're not gonna yell cut. Okay, I'm gonna eat more like spray paint because he dies.
Maybe the director's like, you know what? I think you're actually doing a pretty good job. Maybe we don't have to go to makeup. Let's see
how this turns out.
And then it was like permanently dyed white. You have to wonder how much shooting they did like after this, or like where they just kept having to spray.
No, but when they cut to him after, I was like, oh
yeah, he looks good.
He looks so rad. Yeah.
I don't know how he did his eyelashes and like mustaches as well as he did, but so
it was aesthetic for this movie. Like everything was the aesthetics. Like it was a music video, pretty much.
What, Andy?
No, it was. I mean, it was a stylist on set did all that. Rod, you asked how his eyebrow. You what? You dude? How could you notice something like that when you're trying to read a movie? How does that work? You know.
I don't. It works, Sandy. It works like that. I don't know. I ask the real important questions in my head when these things are happening.
Yes.
So it's because he's watching it and he's actually thinking about the movie and not Star Trek.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easier when that happens.
When he's not wondering about William Shatner and why William Shatner got replaced with Chris Pine.
Why William Shatner's face is behind him, all painted white.
It's right. Yes, talk in the weeds.
Why is William Shatner trying to kill Jamie Lee Curtis? The world may never know. The world may never know, Andy. The world may never
I'm
know.
here for it. I'm here for it.
So, this is when...
Yeah, this movie's fucking crazy. Go ahead, Rod. This movie's nuts.
The crazy guy proceeds to somehow, as Josh said, get up into this, like, in the chimney. Which is, this house was at least 3 stories tall, and the kid was or maybe it was only 2, but like
it's a castle.
Yeah, the kid was on the roof later on, and you're like, holy fuck, this is high up. Like this is how did this little fucker climb up there like with no trouble whatsoever? It's
a fucking beast.
It's to quote the
John Matrix's kid, bro. Good genes.
But little Johnny Makes. Come on, man.
Well, this is the crazy guy. The crazy guy doesn't have anything to do with Commando, right? So he climbs up on the roof, goes into the chimney somehow, wakes up Thomas, who's sleeping under a table, even though his mom.
I believe it's pronounced Toma.
Toma.
Yeah.
And promptly gets attacked by JR, the dog, and then is stabbed to death with a cake knife.
I immediately started to dislike this movie, of course, after that. I was like, oh my God. They killed a fucking dog.
Yeah. Pretty fucking brutal, too.
Yeah, you
don't kill dogs.
Especially
even though it like looked it cuts and it's like a teddy bear like crazy, but still.
Yeah, just the idea of
I don't like it. Yeah,
he stabs it in the throat with this, like, it's not like it's the knife
isn't
like
a knife, man.
It's one of those, it's a knife you would use to serve cake. Where
it's a cake knife.
Yeah. And
I'm pretty sure that that's a cake knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he stabs his dog in the neck, and you're just like, It's your because you don't expect the violence with animals, and even in horror movies, right? Like it, when you see dogs get killed in horror movies, you start going, oh, because you think of things like even things that come out today, like Terrifier. They didn't like kill animals in it, right?
Right.
Even with the hardcore nature of what was there, like you don't kill animals very often, and when you do, you never see it, right? Like I can think of
not much anymore. I mean,
yeah.
That William Shatner masked killer in Halloween killed a dog.
Yeah,
and that happened. I mean, of course, that happened 12 years before this thing.
Before this, yeah.
It's it's the seeing of it on screen is pretty like crazy, right?
Oh yeah, I didn't like it. I like it. I mean, at least in Halloween, it's kind of off screen. You get some sound effect of the dog.
But it had the same effect that it had on John Wick because this kid goes fucking ballistic, bro.
He does. He goes full John Wick on these motherfuckers. It's pretty great.
He is very the kid in his outfit, man, is just he goes through his own montage. How many montages were in this movie? About
it feels like the whole movie is one almost.
There was like montage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where it was just like it was every 80s montage where everything in the 80s. That's why you guys talk about it being like homages to like Hollywood movies from France.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about Josh.
He wandered off, and I assume his little one woke up again because
I'm gonna assume, but I'm a little scared.
Yeah. He'll live. It's okay. Josh wanders the Canadian roads.
Haven't you seen Host?
I mean, yeah, it was.
I'm scared.
That was our test episode. There's nothing. Okay, which one of you assholes paid the shitty like the what do you call her?
Medium.
Medium, yeah. The medium that's gonna just leave in the middle of the ceremony. That woman was not very nice, and obviously did not give a fuck. But that. Oh, Andy.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes, Roderick.
Oh yes. I get called Roderick, Roderick, Rodney, Roddington. I get called all of these things. It's okay.
Roderick,
Roderick Rodnington. Have you ever been called like all of them?
I'm basically. I have a
Roderick Rodnington.
Roddy Piper. I get called all these things.
Rod.
Well, there was the guy on Game of Thrones called Roderick, right? Or I think, right?
Oh, I don't know. I never seen one fucking episode of that show.
I watched the first season, but then I was doing that during the last season, and then everyone hated the last season. So I'm like, you know what? I'm never watching this show. Fuck it.
Yeah, it was more of those who had gone. It was the same thing with the Lost, right?
Oh, he's safe. I was worried.
Josh didn't get killed by the host ghost.
Yeah, we were scared. I watched Host. I didn't like that.
So good, man. So good.
So after
where we at in Deadly Games?
The puppy got murdered is where we were talking about.
Yeah, this was devastating.
It was. It made us all sad. And
the juxtaposition between what's happening literally a second before that and what happens afterwards is super jarring though.
Yeah.
Because he's like Thomas. Is that how you pronounce it? You think, Andy? Thomas?
Yeah, we need the Andy pronunciation.
That's correct. He is super digging the fact that Santa is in his house right now. Like he's like, holy fucking
He's
shit,
got like
man.
the wicked 80s soundtrack going on in his head.
Oh yeah, it's rad, man. And then all of a sudden, in one swoop, Santa grabs that damn cake knife, plunges into that dog, and then just the fucking look on Tomas' face is just like, Santa don't do that shit.
Yeah, and the best part
was devastating.
The kid still, I think he still thought it was Santa for a while after that. Like he was like,
oh, he still thinks it's Santa the whole movie. He does because
100%.
He does. He says at the well, of course, we'll get there. But what he says to his mom at the end proves that he thinks it's Santa. Even when he's talking to him later, he's like, "I know even though you're Santa, you're going to be afraid." Yeah. He's pissed. This kid, this Santa hoax awakened something very very deep inside this kid, man. Yeah. Brought out the John Matrix genes.
Yeah.
And
he didn't want to go into the real world where his dad is a commando and that someday he will be a commando too. And he was fighting his, you know what it was? It was like, it was that thing where you don't want to grow up. It was the Toys R Us kid song in a movie form. He did not want to grow up. He wanted to be a Toys R Us kid because that made his life easier. Especially, you know what the funny part is? It's the rich kid that's all like into Santa and magic and all that shit. And like his little like poor buddy doesn't believe in Santa Claus. And Andy is choking on something yet again today.
I need to take the focus off of it. I need to... What? Because you're cracking me up, bro.
Well, don't let Brian sidetrack you, Rod. You were doing so well.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
You were doing so good.
Your approval means the world to me, and I love you.
No, it's not my approval. It's just an observation.
Okay. So the kid then, I don't know where the dude goes in his what after murdering the dog, because they don't really, that's the one thing that you don't really know why he's there. Is he there for the kid or whatnot? But the kid,
I genuinely chalk it up to he's there as revenge for getting fired, and he wants to punish this lady by terrorizing her fucking family.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with the whole purpose for this dude. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah. He goes and gets his grandpa, and they go to his refrigerator lair. Is that where they go?
Yeah. That's a good name. Refrigerator lair.
They literally,
man.
He has a refrigerator that you open it up and there's no back of it, and it's this room filled with toys. Like,
there's a fucking room.
It reminded me of like It or something.
It reminded me. So this isn't gonna be a weird reference, but the Scream Queens will do this. Will know what I'm talking about because they watch this. The Halloween Town from Disney from back in the day. There was one of the characters had like collected all the things from that got lost. That's what it reminded me of. It was like where all your lost off socks were. That's what it was like. All the toys had ended up in this room, and they were like, "Okay, we're gonna hang out here." But the room is like massive. Like,
it's massive.
It's huge, and
everything about this movie is massive. Like this whole house is just insane. Like wicked sets.
Yeah,
like I said, and they did such a good job filming everything that.
This movie's kind of impressive, really. In a lot of aspects.
Certain elements, a lot of aspects, certain elements. I think where the movie fails the most is cohesiveness with the storytelling.
I agree.
Visual storytelling, like a little bit, but the way the story kind of flows on screen, it doesn't flow at times, but it just you
can tell they love cinema, and they had like a whole bunch of shit that they're like, we gotta do that, and we gotta and we gotta do that. So they're like, just figure it out. We gotta do it. Like that's how it felt. But it was visual candy to me because it was like, I can't believe they did that. It makes zero sense, but it looks fucking cool, I guess.
Right.
Like, it doesn't make much sense, but it kind of almost goes with this like over the topness of this fucking.
I have to you asked it earlier, Josh, but the kid has this wrist thing that is about the size of like a public payphone. That's how big this thing is. And he can control the house's security system with it. Like there are cameras all around the house that he is like
that are like the loudest things in the world. It's like being inconspicuous. Santa's like, oh, there it is. Wham! Like, fuck.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right.
Yeah, he starts just smashing these cameras, and it's like everything. The kid has a tracking device. How the fuck does this kid have a tracking device? Because
he's Batman.
Yeah. I mean, it just reminds me of the line from the Justice League movie. What's your power? I'm extremely rich, or whatever it is. Is it whatever they say? Bruce Wayne says in that.
He has everything. He literally has everything at disposal. So he's just Batman with a mullet.
And a damn fine looking mullet.
It's the longest mullet I've ever seen.
All that's missing is the beautiful Camaro that should be wrapped around it.
It is amazing. It is one of the most epic mullets I've ever seen.
It's better than Billy Ray Cyrus's old mullet. 100%.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't know. Like, that's like, I don't even know, man.
The kid
could be top mullet.
One of the things that happens earlier on before the guy gets in, like the kid is apparently a genius, and he's like fixing his mother's car for some reason. She's got this like old muscle car. And then like the grandpa's like, okay, let's go around. The kid starts driving around like he's like
Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, he's like Tokyo drifting at the age of 10. And everyone's all cool about it. They're like, oh, okay. He's just
that's just Billy.
It's just that rich ass Tomas kid. Yeah, no big deal, whatever.
He's just
he hits somebody, he'll just throw some money at it and fix it.
He'll only run over homeless people. Don't worry about it.
Right.
No, he won't even do that because he could have ran the homeless dude over at some point during the movie later on, like after
he's in the way.
Yeah, that's right. And he didn't want to do that.
He didn't want to hit him. And yet he will do other things to him. So a lot of this part of the movie begins.
I will not run you over with a car, but I will light you on fire.
I will light you on fire and do other real horrible things to you that we're gonna forget happened because your outfit's not gonna look like it was set on fire at all. But so the kid ends up being like
he has to look like Santa still, right?
Yeah. He does with his snow paint beard and everything like that that's going on at that point. They chase each other around the house. It's kind of like what happens for a lot of like nothing gets they chase each other out through the windows and they chase each other around a lot during this part that doesn't like accomplish all that much. And they switch back over to his mother who like the shift is over and they're like, don't you want to go home to your son? No, I made too much money. I need the money now. And you're just like, this woman gives zero fucks about her child. She just wants all the money. But her fuck toy actually convinces her to go home. And it takes her the rest of the movie. It takes her like
the rest of the movie,
to get home.
She lives. She works in Paris and apparently lives in fucking Delaware because it took her fucking forever to get back home. It did.
And her bad driving, it's her.
Well, the kid on the bike got there first. Like,
yeah.
That's what's the best thing. So this kid has all these toys and shit in the house. And at some point, he sends out like a text message by like he's like printing out like help messages that go to like his mom's work and his buddy's house. And you're like, what did this kid have? I don't even understand what kind of setup that like I guess he's a little genius, right? But
it almost reminded me of like It Follows, where you're like, what year is it? Because like maybe that ATM thing honestly doesn't exist. Like, you know, and It Follows when they open it up and and you're like, what kind of year is this? And what technology is that? So, and they don't explain it. And it's just like in this universe. So it almost like, if it is that, which we don't know, it could be a translation thing. But if it's that, then I fucking love this movie 10 times more. Because then It Follows is like my favorite thing ever.
It's the
to do something like that and think about it.
It's like Archer.
Do it on purpose is fucking awesome.
Archer does the same thing where you're like, you follow the timeline of how old his mother is and how old he is. It's like everything's taking place in the 80s, but they have, you know, email and weird like green screen computers and so like and cell phones, and so it's like the whole timeline is just this mishmash of technology, right? So so this kid ends up going. Is there anything notable that happens in between before he puts his grandpa in there's
a lot of just cool shots of like they really backlit the fuck out of the Santa.
Yeah.
Made him look really.
He chases him around the house. Yeah. And it's not much.
Cool. I was like, how many shots are they going to get at this? It's just like, dun, 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 dun. Like, okay, cool. There's his boots now.
Yeah. They did a lot of cool shots of the like that gets overused in horror movies, but like the doorway shots, like where it's like just the the frame of the individual coming through, and also even the Santa, he comes in to the grandpa at one point, and the grandpa can't see shit, so it's like a kind of like a, oh fuck, he doesn't realize what's happening because he's blind as fuck, right? So so the kid ends up going and needing to, basically figures out that he needs to, the grandpa starts having like he needs his insulin, and there's no insulin in the house, so the kid needs to go to the caretaker's house, but like he can't do that yet before. Why does he actually get pissed off at the guy? Like, oh, because he slashes him, right? Like, so the guy slashes him with a cake knife, and that's when he breaks a chair and like just ties one of the legs to it, like at the side of his body. And one of the most, like, that kind of reminded me of something.
Commando.
It would have happened to like Fright Night or something like that, but like Fright Night with like Home Alone, like, you know, obviously because this is before Home Alone, but it's so weird that he like tapes a giant chair leg to the side of his body.
It's to show how fucking badass this kid is.
Yeah.
His mullet gave him powers.
Well, and then he goes, now I have to actually fuck.
His power was
It's
in
a
his
power
mullet.
mullet, man. Power. This
Always,
kid,
dude.
He's got to shave his head. The kid would have wouldn't even be able to walk afterwards.
He would have been in every single 80s hair metal like music video that needed a kid, right?
He's a bad motherfucker, man.
He was. He really was. So this is when he actually fights
like
back.
His
right?
outward appearance, like he could have just been like the shittiest kid ever, but he was a cool kid. So like that's what makes this movie like, I don't know, like it's hard to not like this movie for me because he is actually a cool kid too. I'm like, oh, okay.
He's rich. He's like, he's got
Home
a
Alone
horrible mullet, and he's still likable, which is, yeah.
I'm kind of with Josh here. Like, I actually really dug this protagonist.
Yeah.
I did. He was entertaining. You rooted for the kid. It's like he was a nice kid.
Yeah.
He was a good kid.
Yeah.
He wasn't a spoiled brat. He was, you know.
And he didn't resort to violence until like the very end. But he starts fucking with
when it was fully necessary.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
He hits him in the neck with 2 darts, which I still don't know how he did that. Does anybody know how he hit him with both sides?
Yeah, he set up those darts in that tripwire thing, and then he
just pieced out and didn't even care or look or see if they did anything.
It was so funny. This part where we're kind of gotten to, where he's setting up all these traps. I thought it was really funny because of the way they edited everything together. It made it look like he literally set a trap. Santa set said trap off.
And then he set up another trap.
Sets up another trap whilst Santa is recuperating and advancing forth. And then like, sets off said trap.
Yeah, that was
rinse
it was
and
only
repeat.
in like it was only in like a very short amount of time in the movie. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was very strange. I was like,
they didn't do the whole like Home Alone thing where they like showed setting up all the traps. Yeah, at the same time.
I mean, they were already montage happy in this movie anyway. They should have had a dope ass montage where it showed him setting up all these traps, and then that like it could have been they could have ripped off Karate Kid. You're the best around, you know, while he's setting up these fucking traps and just going from room to room and just setting up a dope ass just a fucking treasure trove of traps for this fucking Santa imposter.
Who knows how many he has? Like
he set up other places,
have, like way more. Yeah, like trap door too. Right?
Yeah, exactly. He could, we have no idea. He could have had a fucking escape thing where or an eject door. Where Santa would have stepped on it, and he'd hit button number 4 on his fucking power pad or a power glove of death. Where did
this kid get a blowtorch?
4 and launch him through the fucking roof?
Where did the kid get a blowtorch? That's my next question. The kid had a blowtorch at some point, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
He was welding. He was
well, and he had his own like the whole problem in Silent Night. Or wait, what did we watch?
Black
Christmas, that was Silent Night. Oh no, Black Christmas. The whole issue with the like phone thing there, he had that cheat code in his fucking basement. He was just like click, click, and he could have been tracking that phone call from his fucking basement, dude.
Yeah, because he'd already hacked into like the system earlier so he could put his dope ass music over everything.
Yeah.
And then he runs into that room and changes out a few plugs and then turns everything back to normal. So phones work as regular and all that.
That was when he was
this movie was kind of fucking. I mean, well, Andy already said it. This movie's fucking bonkers, bro.
It did.
Like,
Those
word.
It reminded me of Predator, like when he was like hiding behind the plants and shit, and he's all like, commandoed out and everything like that.
Yeah.
I just brought up Turbo Kid last week. You haven't seen Turbo Kid yet? This like kind of reminds me along those lines. It's like a dystopian future, and it's just this kid that has like a whole bunch of 80s shit, and he has to like fuck people up in this like dystopian fucking place. But it's
I watched that movie one time. It's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, but like if you like, I love that style of movie, and this like kind of lends itself to that type of style too. And
yeah, for sure,
I was that G.I. Joe kid, man. Like that DIY everything. Like I don't. Well, his character spoke to me, man.
So he does what? 3 things to the guy. He hits him in both sides of the neck with darts, that you would throw in like a game of darts. And then he sets him on fire, but then the guy isn't on fire. That was like where you're talking about recovering from things. This guy's suit should have been fucked up as hell because he like had gasoline on the floor or whatever. And he pulled he put one of his darts in gasoline and lit it on fire and like lit Santa on fire. And Santa was like instantly okay, like 3 seconds later.
Yeah, that was the weirdest transitional because they did show him for like a bit, but then he ran away, and then it was like all of a sudden daytime-ish. That's where it was like the continuity. I was like, whoa, this is obviously the next day or something. And then,
but it was the same night. Yeah, it was just like weird, like lighting. I think like you were talking about. And then he builds the grenade train, where
he has
where does he get a stick of dynamite, or was that a flare? I don't know what it was. It was a flare or
it was like it reminded me of like a M80.
Yeah.
For Fourth, like it was like when we would get like M80s during 4th of July and shit.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of. But yeah, this kid is fucking awesome. He unrolls the
he really is.
Pours it in there and then throws marbles in there and shit.
Yeah. You was shrapneling him. Like he was like
he put shrapnel in there, yeah.
Well,
I'm here.
He hits him in the face with like a marble. This dude would have had a concussion from like this slingshot, the marble.
He would have been dead.
Yeah.
Depending on that slingshot, you're right. He would have been fucked up. Yeah, he would have been fucked up.
You could go hunting with slingshots, like real hunting with slingshots, if they're powerful enough.
Yeah, this wasn't no Bart Simpson, stick with fucking rubber band slingshot. This was like a legit slingshot.
Well, the train, like he shoots it at the dude, and it has to hit the front of it. Has to hit the wall.
Yeah, the front of it has to hit something.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get obviously until it did go off the second time.
Yeah, and then it has a 75-second fucking wick.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that scene is like when the guy
fucking cool engineering for a little kid. Like I was like, that was epic. I didn't think it was
when Santa picks up the fucking train car, he's got the craziest fucking look you will ever see in his face. He's like,
I know. His eyes and big teeth. Like they're
this is the one
this movie's fucking ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I love it.
You go
it's got that ridiculous factor. This movie's kind of cool. I think this movie's cool.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I get kind of the best way to describe it too. It's just kind of cool. I actually enjoyed this. Now, would I prefer to be American movie, English, so I could absolutely. But
it's a wacky good time.
It's funny because even
it's shocking. No, it's just shocking that a French horror film from 1989 with this many elements that we've all been talking about was still kind of holds up a little bit oddly, and it's kind of good.
It's entertaining as shit for sure. Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. Well, so the kid, like the guy picks up the train and sends it back, and it hits the wall, and like Josh said, it has the longest wake of all time, but eventually blows up, and then he wants to play with the kid at some point. Like I don't understand anything about the Santa Claus dude. Like he could have killed him, but he like lets him go, right? And you're just like, what? And so then this is when the kid really has to go get the insulin and runs to the caretaker's house and finds insulin and then comes back. And then his buddy shows up and everything. And then Grandpa's in the suit of armor. And you're like, how did Grandpa get in the suit of armor? Because they can't even. How long did that take to put him in a goddamn suit of armor? That's my real question.
I mean, he has all the time in the world. This Santa's slow. Remember, he set up trap, set off trap, set up trap, set off trap.
He set off every single trap.
This guy is kind of a lumbering fucking oaf.
Yeah.
He doesn't get around very fast.
An ogre. Well, I mean, this kid is cool with doing things slow because he's been playing Dungeons and Dragons with his grandpa for a year, and his grandpa finally hit level 2. So, I mean, the kid is cool.
Yeah, you're right.
Doing things very slowly, right? So the whole time, like, all this shit's going on with them chasing each other around in the house, and the mother's trying to call him, and like the guy's taking the phone off the lines, and the kid can't get out of the house because his wrist computer broke, which was controlling the security.
The power glove of death. Yeah,
the power glove of death, which is when he starts becoming a professional welder, like in a crime paper movie, and he welds through the security box so he can put his code in and like get out of the house. And
he can do anything. He's Batman.
He's a genius. Yeah, he's Batman.
Well, you know that obviously everybody subscribes to a lot of people subscribe to the theory that Kevin McAllister became Jigsaw.
Yeah.
They are wrong. This kid became Jigsaw 100%.
Well, I mean, he has such luscious hair that like it turned into like he obviously lost it because he put too many hair products in it, and it just
it's too bad too because that fucking mullet, man, it inspired me.
It was
thinking about it, man. I'm thinking about it.
It was a power mullet. It was the definition of a power mullet.
It's 2021. Maybe the 1 stands for like a mullet. I don't mullet on the 2020.
So the kid finally actually ends up getting the insulin from the caretaker's house. He comes back, but when he's coming back, the Santa finds him, and they both they start mud wrestling or something. I'm not exactly sure. They both get covered in mud.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and then the Santa has a gun all of a sudden.
Well, there was a dead cop right there.
Yeah, he killed the cop. Yeah. That's what it was. He got that. So cop shows up because the mom called the cops. Right?
Mom's fuck buddy called the cops.
Oh no, she did because she knew the cops.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she called them because that's right. They know me, so they'll come there because they don't give a shit about you peasants.
Yeah,
that's right. Because she's got money. Yeah, that's
they really make a point of that.
They do. Because you're just a regular old Joe. Me, I'm rich, bitch. So I'm gonna call the cops.
Your big dick isn't gonna impress the police.
Yeah, You can't swing your big dick at the cop over the phone.
You can make me come with your big dick, but you can't get the cops to show up faster with your big dick.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it earlier that his mom barely cares about him. It does seem almost like this boyfriend that's never met this kid is a little more concerned than she is at times.
Yeah.
In a way, because she does start to obviously get pretty concerned, and he's kind of trying to calm her down. He's like, okay, I'm sure everything's fine. But at the same time, he goes, okay, but I'm sure everything's fine, but let's do this. Let's call the cops or let's do whatever to get them out there if it'll make you feel better. But yeah, it's at least the fuck boy is not a piece of shit. Like he's not a Chad, you know.
He's trying to make him he's trying to make sure the kid is okay. He's like, if this kid dies, I'm not getting laid for weeks. So I'm gonna well, how long will it be?
For weeks. I'm not getting laid for weeks.
At least. I'm putting a minimum on here. I mean,
yeah. That's fucking funny.
2 weeks at least, right?
But you're right. I mean, because considering how little regard she had for him at the beginning, you're probably right. Just a couple weeks.
Yeah, she's one of those power business ladies who's like, she has it in her head. She's like the dude at the beginning of Die Hard 2 doing like naked Tai Chi. That's what kind of how she lives her life.
Yeah. What was that? William Sadler.
Yeah, William Sadler's But so the kid ends up I said they mud wrestle, but they get like tangle up with each other, And
that was just in like their basement. They just had like a room that was like not.
No, that was outside.
No, that was outside. That was on the way from the caretaker's house.
Oh, okay.
When he went to get insulin, and he shoots the dude, and then he comes back and he's like, the grandpa's dead in the suit of armor, but he's not really dead. And it takes the kid like 7 minutes. Like it takes him longer to get the grandpa out of the armor than it's taking him to do anything.
Yeah, he has to use the sword to like pry parts of it off and shit.
Yeah. And they get him out and give him insulin. Okay, they talked about insulin when the mom was leaving at the beginning of the movie, right? Wouldn't they have had insulin all over the house? Like
they did. But remember, he got to the insulin and it was all. I think it got all broken somehow. I can't remember how. But yeah, but that's where Santa finds him, and he has he sends the fucking tracking device that the kid had attached to him.
Yeah,
he sends it to him on the little tank.
I've never seen something like a kid have a cooler toy in anything ever. This kid has like he's got like every CIA device from 1989 that exists in running around his house.
Yeah.
So he gets grandpa out and gives him his insulin, and then the dude comes back, Santa comes back in while his friend shows up all of a sudden, because like he had emailed him or whatever he had done. He had sent out this message that Santa was trying to kill him to everyone. And then he yells, did his little buddy get murked by Santa Claus, by the way? Because I think he got away.
Because it shows him Tomas yells at him, tells him basically to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but then Santa
and he starts haul assing, and Santa does start chasing after him. But
like forever though.
Yeah, they got the longest yard.
That was a fucking scary scene.
Right. It was
he was running full fucking speed. I was like, that would be terrifying. Like,
it was pretty good, but it was interesting because it's a lot like driving to work and driving home, because it always takes longer to get home from work than it does to get to work. Yeah. Y'all ever notice that? Because this kid gets to the house super quick, but the yard is much longer on the way out.
Yeah. What's the whole? You don't care about how you get to work or when you get to work, but when you're leaving, you're like, this is the longest experience of my entire life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does. Santa gets cut off by the car because the kid crosses the street and then that car comes by and it cuts Santa off.
Yeah.
So Santa gives up chasing after the little kid.
He does. Buddy. He almost gets him because they go into that first.
Yeah, he almost gets him a couple times.
Yeah, they go into the first person slasher mode and like almost get him a couple times. So,
I thought he was gonna get that kid.
Yeah, I did too.
Like, oh, this kid's about to be fucking dead. He's gonna be buried with that dog.
This is what you get for not believing in Santa, you little fuck. So then he goes back into the house and comes after the kid again, and this is when Grandpa wakes up and shoots him the one last time because the kid shot him, which is crazy. And also something that you wouldn't see. Like a 10-year-old shooting an adult is a very like weird thing nowadays, especially. But and so then the mom shows up and with the boyfriend who she went off road because she was driving like an idiot on her 9-hour drive home. And what car? Okay,
and then crashes.
Yeah,
for no reason. Like how and why did she crash? She's just all of a sudden like, oh, and like
yes. And where the boyfriend was behind her, whose car was he in? Because she took his car, and yet he had a car to.
Yeah, I don't know. That was confusing too. I noticed that because he came to pick her up for work. Yeah, yeah, he came to pick her up for work, and then they're both driving separate cars on the way home. I noticed that too. I was
I did because she was gonna blow him in on the way in. She was gonna like roadhead for the dude.
That's little pre-work roadhead. Yeah, that's what everybody. That's what every good employee deserves.
It helps. You know why she's with that dude? He's got a big old dick, and so she's with him. It's Big Dick Danvers, like from
Mama get it. Mama definitely get it.
And so yeah, the mom shows up and everyone's dead. Besides
get it, Rod. There's no doubt about it. She'd get it.
She'd get it. She'd get it.
She'd get it. Oh yeah.
And that was basically
very attractive.
The end. Oh yeah, she reminds me of. She kind of reminded me of like Helen Hunt kind of thing.
She reminded me of Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Quite lovely. She's quite lovely.
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Yeah, she reminded me of Rebecca De Mornay.
It was like I kept thinking Helen Hunt while I was watching it, but yeah, I think that's a better one.
I could see that too, though. Actually,
yeah. So
all beautiful people. Yeah.
I want to know how much counseling this kid needed after this all happened, because
we know he didn't get it because he became Jigsaw. But yeah, man, that's because it does. This is where it does nail home that he really does believe that was Santa.
Yeah,
because he's talking to his mom. He's like, "Oh, it's my fault for trying. I wanted to see him, and I shouldn't have wanted to see him. He keeps saying that it's his fault." So yeah, he still through the whole movie he believes that was Santa Claus,
which is really weird. And that's
so how do you do? So what do you do in that moment? That's like a parent clutch decision. Okay. Do I tell him that wasn't Santa Claus and Santa wasn't real? Or do I tell him that was Santa Claus and that he killed him? So now I don't have to worry about putting toys out late for.
I think at this point, if you're,
I think she would probably go with that one.
Yeah.
She seems like
she would probably pick the best business decision for her finances, but
Yeah, she doesn't have to fucking buy so many toys for that.
This bitch said didn't want to go home on Christmas Eve because she wanted to make sure she could deposit.
See how many toys he already had? If she has to keep up with that demand, then yeah, she's going number 2.
No wonder they have 17 rooms in that house. 14 of them are fucking playrooms.
Is that even counting the mysterious hidden toy room that apparently nobody knows about? Yeah, it's like where the Goonies pulled the ship out of the cove. I mean, come on.
We were talking about that. I meant to say that reminded me of all the toys and shit that he had. It reminded me of the movie The Toy. Have you guys seen that? It's a fucking old movie.
With Robin Williams or
Robin Williams?
Yeah.
No, not that one. There's with
Richard Pryor.
Thank you, Richard Pryor. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't seen
old movie. Yeah.
1983.
Oh god damn! I gotta find out.
Is he
now,
doing
bro.
it in his head again because Andy can
It's straight off the top of my head. 82 or 83.
1982, bro. Boom!
He even corrected from 83 to 1982 before he did it. Did you just start humming John Cena?
Oh,
Richard
Pryor. Yeah,
Richard Pryor.
Yeah. Before he set himself on fire.
Directed by Richard Donner.
Inspired this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
A fantastic filmmaker behind such hits as The Omen.
So Goonies. I think that this
love Goonies, man. Goonies.
Superman and
this movie
he directed that one.
Could have floated
the whole Weapon franchise.
Andy, I think that the minimal of dialogue for this movie that really mattered much was probably better for you with amount of it wasn't like a heavy dialogue movie, you know what I mean?
No, not really. No.
There was dialogue.
This is what you would definitely classify as a visually strong movie.
Yeah.
It relied very much on the visuals.
Not everyone, I mean, if you're going into a foreign movie, a foreign language film, and it minimizes it, because Josh and I have talked about Train to Busan, and we talked about I Saw the Devil, which are both very heavy on just beautifully shot movies. But this has a lot of just beautiful cinematography that also makes it easier to get through if you're frustrated with the language stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that if this movie has a dubbed version somewhere, I bet it wouldn't be that bad because the dialogue is
there's not much dialogue in this, so it makes it an
not really
read well. So.
Yeah, you're right. It's and I'm trying to think of even the key points that you would even need to worry about really hearing. Probably just his speech that he gives to Santa.
Yeah,
and then some of the exposition at the beginning,
with the
table and stuff. It really is. Yeah, there's not a lot of dialogue.
It's Thomas really is talking and some stuff from his mom. The Santa doesn't say much at all after the whole he's Santa Claus thing, and I don't think he says.
He says you're cheating.
Yeah.
He says you're cheating.
He
tries to steal the car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's very childish. And then
it's bizarre, dude. Because when he catches him at one point, he says he acts like they were playing hide and seek.
Yeah,
and then he tells him that he's like, I found you, and now it's your turn to find me. And then he goes and he hides.
You go.
It's fucking. This movie's bizarre, man.
Yeah, the tone and
It's
everything.
fucking bonkers.
Yeah. I think Andy described
He just
it
wants to play. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's set up that way because he just wanted to play with the snow with the kids at the beginning. So yeah, he literally
and
fucked up and maybe just
and he's got that
wanted
temper,
to-
right? It's the whole like that's what that little girl scene showed. Like when he was Santa, it was like this guy is like childish, but he also has this temper that when he'll do
reveal him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take his mask off or he'll get pissed.
He gets very, very angry when it does it. So again, this movie was entertaining, and it like I think Christmas time horror movies especially are worth watching aren't that all that deep. There's like we talked
not
about
a big list of that, man.
Silent Night, and which is a lot of fun, and Josh wasn't a big Black Christmas fan, which I understand. I like that movie a lot, but like this is something I could throw on at Christmas time and just be like getting into the season of Christmas.
Because Die Hard is my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And
I fucking love Die Hard so much.
So like every Christmas Eve before we go to bed, we watch Die Hard.
Yeah. Die Hard is
This is one of those ones that in the background.
What you need to do, Josh, I don't know if you do it this way, Josh, but what you do is you find out, you time it perfectly. And when Hans Gruber is falling from Nakatomi Tower at midnight, that's what you need to do.
I think I tried to do, or I was planning to try to do that one Christmas.
You got to do that. Yeah. Time it. Find out what time you start the movie. Yeah. Bam. And right when Hans Gruber is falling, boom, it's Christmas, baby.
That's perfect. Yeah. It's always one of those movies I watch right after Thanksgiving for me for Die Hard. So
I don't start watching Christmas movies typically until I go on my vacation from work.
Yeah.
Because I work such a fucked up schedule. I work overnights and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like watching movies like in the middle of the fucking day. Like it's kind of a drag, you know. I like it when it's dark. I like to get the theater atmosphere as best as I can because God knows we don't fucking have it much right now with COVID being a thing that's shutting all the theaters down.
Yeah.
So I try. It's hard to get into watching a movie at fucking 1 PM when the sun is blasting through my fucking windows and my goddamn dogs are irritating the shit out of me. And
they're so cute. They're so cute.
Yeah, they're fucking beautiful. And
it doesn't make sense in the day, like unless it's with kids and the kid. Like it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I always I typically wait until like I go on vacation. I start plowing through all the Christmas movies I can.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This might make the rotation again. I think you guys liked it a little more than me. I thought it was okay. For sure.
His mullet was fucking everything.
His mullet's fucking glorious. But there's a lot of things that I did enjoy about this movie. I loved the cheese.
Yeah.
I loved that.
All about cheese. So if you're this movie is spoon feeding you the cheese.
Oh, yeah, like, hardcore, yeah.
So I'm all in on that.
It is. I mean,
my issues with it is literally the storytelling. Because it just goes a little all over the place at times.
Makes
so
it's
movies
like,
everywhere.
Yeah, it's a little everywhere.
It's kind of part of the bonkerness that this movie has. That's part of it, but that's kind of the bad part of the bonkers.
Right.
There's good bonkers in this movie. Plenty of good bonkers. But the bad part of the bonkers is the story's super muddy. Not that you want we're signing up to, watch this awesome fucking story play out with this premise, but a little bit, just bring it together a little bit.
You don't
get a little tighter.
You don't get much. You don't get much insight into what is the fucked up Santa's like. Why he's doing it. You kind of guess, like we were talking about him getting fired or whatever like that, but he's doing fucked up shit before that point, and so you start going, yeah, that's probably it. But and it's just like questions like that, and what was he trying to do? And like he's doing fucked up shit, but then he wants to play hide and seek with this kid that is fucking with him, and then he's getting lit on fire. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff where you just like, if you think about it a little bit too hard, you start going, well, that doesn't make as much sense. But like, if you go, I'm just gonna have fun with this and like throw it on in the background. If you know
that's the kind of movie this is for sure. Yeah. It's for me anyway.
Yeah. If you know what the story is and what's going on, you're like, you could just throw it on and it's just like, oh, okay,
it's just visually nice, right? Like, and it's not even, it's not a hard read, but you don't really.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was fun, which is all that truly matters. Is if a movie's not great, but at least fun with what it is, I can enjoy it. And not that I thought this movie was fun, which is just the pure of what you need with this kind of thing. So I think that's about all, man. We went all over this movie and every Star Trek movie that's happened since.
Yeah, we're a little over. It fits the aesthetic of the movie. The episode fits the aesthetic
exactly.
of the movie.
I mean,
a little all over the place, a little bonkers.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, it's us, it's Murder Moose, it's Andy. Andy's all over the place, so it all works.
Yes,
right, Andy,
my boy.
Yes.
Punish. Okay. Well, guys, dude, it was a blast having you guys on. I mean, this is our longest
fun.
By a far time, but it was. I love the shit out of you.
If there's something we know how to do, we can stretch out a discussion, baby.
I mean, which is why I love you. So it works.
It's in our blood.
It's someday.
No, thanks for having us.
You guys were a big inspiration for me and starting back up this and starting Murder Moose. So you guys had to be the first guests for everything. So it was.
Oh well, thank you, man. Appreciate that. That means a lot.
Hell yeah, dude.
I love the podcasting way too much, and once I gathered Josh to come and join the journey, so it was it meant a lot. So, well, you guys,
it was nice meeting you, Josh. It was nice finally meeting you, bro.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Josh hides in the shadows of even me trying to get a hold of him a lot of times. So, Josh,
I like that drum set he's got back there. How many pieces? That 1, 2, 3. Was that 5 piece? Yeah.
Josh is a hell of a musician, man. I mean, if you guys don't know, Josh sings the Murder Moose theme song, so it's like
fuck yeah. See, I used to be a musician once too.
Yeah, that's my band from way back in the day. It was a song that didn't make it on this album, and then what
was the name of the band?
It's Olivia.
Okay, I used to do music once.
You did.
I used to be cool. I'm not cool anymore.
Now you're just Brian. You're cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Willie
cool.
Nelson thought he was the next fucking shit.
What the fuck?
All I heard was Willie Nelson party.
Willie Nelson thought he was the next fucking shit.
Andy, you are a hell of a human being, and I love you with all of my heart. I have to, even when you drive me crazy, I love you with all of my heart. So, you guys want to drop off all your information? Just say where. I mean, everyone who's listening to this probably listens to you guys too. But for the shit of it, just tell everyone where they could. Find
you can. I'll take this, Andy. You can find us on Twitter at Dead in SC Podcast.
You can find Andy on Twitter at Dead in Santa Carla Podcast.
Yeah, you can find Andy at Dead in SC Podcast because I got booted from social medias.
That's not true.
It's not entirely true, but I kind of booted myself to be fair.
Andy does a lot of cool stuff with their Twitter account, and he also
he's done a fantastic job with our Twitter. That's why I don't fuck with it anymore because I was just fucking it up. All I was doing was double posting.
Yep.
You were damn good at it. You were.
Yeah, if you post something, I can promise you that I could double post the fuck out of it.
And what was it? It was like the Candyman thing.
No, it was like I want to say it was the Hellraiser one, wasn't it?
Okay,
yeah, it was Hellraiser's birthday.
Yeah, Hellraiser came out and he was on top of that shit.
Yeah, I do that. Dude, I was on top of that morning. 2.5 hours later, put on his big red cape.
I came back to finish it off with the floppy seconds.
We gotta tweet that shit out. I'm like, bro, that's 2 hours ago, dude.
Andy runs the Slash and Cast Podcast Network Twitter account too. So he is.
I do a little bit of that. Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you run all of it, but you run a lot of it, right? So
95% of the tweets on there are me.
Yeah, he gets a lot of the podcast stuff out for the network, which is, I mean, the network is going awesome, and it's great doing all this with all these cool people who love horror as much as we do. So yeah, go follow them, guys. Listen to them. Their podcast is awesome. They always have
new episodes every Monday, folks.
Yep. And they
every Monday.
They have an awesome intro. And everything. It's like their music's awesome too. It's pretty metal. So
you're talking, the song. That's those are some friends of mine. They're from they were a national act for a while. They're called Redline Chemistry.
Yeah.
And they actually had a song called Dead in Santa Carla. So that's where I kind of got the idea. Obviously, that's where I got the idea for the podcast name. And then I just got a hold of the lead singer, Brett. And we recorded, when I was doing music, I recorded an EP with the same producer that recorded their stuff. And he hooked me up with Brett, and I just asked, and they were very, very gracious and said, "Yeah, man, you can use that song."
Yeah, I think I remember them in the early 2000s getting some like alt rock kind of like.
Oh no, Redline Chemistry, they weren't around then. No, they
was that later than that.
Yeah, they around the 2010ish time is when they a little later than that.
Yeah,
even they used to be called Penumbra. And then they were called Penumbra, and then they changed the name of the band.
Redline Chemistry is much.
Redline Chemistry is a fucking badass name.
I'm very nice about that shit. That sucks. That's not good.
And
let's move on from that.
For the two of us, you can find all our stuff at murdermoose.com. That has all our episodes and all our information, all our Twitter stuff. So I think that's about all, guys. So
I got one question. Why y'all gotta be murdering mooses though?
No,
mooses.
It's the moose that's murdering there.
Yeah, look at the logo. The moose is clearly doing the murdering.
Yeah, it's a murder moose.
Yeah.
He's the one. He's handling that machete.
Yeah.
Why is this moose murdering people? What happened?
Have you met a moose, man? Mooses are fucking psychopaths.
Like a revenge?
We should have used a fucking goose, man. Like that's what we're actually scared. Like
the Murder Goose podcast. I would have fucking Andy, we're changing our name.
Well, no, because I'm in Canada, so he was like, I don't know. For some reason, whenever I think of Canadians, I think of moose, and I was like, that's cool. And he said murder moose. I was like, that's fucking badass, man. But like in Canada, seriously, look it up on YouTube. Just like there was like a news story of like these geese, like they're super territorial and they fuck you up, man. They are relentless.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, bro. Yeah.
They're
Haven't you ever seen the Untitled Goose Game? If you're watching any game, the geese are mean.
Yeah, geese
I have that game. That's fucking addictive as hell, by the way.
It's one of those games I wanted to play and I still haven't picked it up, but I may at some
I bought it on the Switch. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you for having us. I love your faces.
Thank you for having us, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, I think I said thank you for having us. Like you were.
You did.
Dude, I'm tired. It's after midnight for me. It's late.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, I did schedule this. So
Rod, I will take you any way I can.
That's just the way I like it, buddy.
Oh.
So go listen to Dead in Santa Carla if you haven't. Thanks for being here. Is what I really meant to say. My tired ass. I love you guys, and we will catch you. Oh, we have to do this real quick. Do you want to finally hit Old Boy, Josh? Because there's no New Year's Eve horror movies that we have to worry about. Do we finally do the Old Boy dive that you need to do?
If it's new, let's not tell them what we're doing.
Okay, we'll be a surprise next week.
Might be Old Boy, but who?
Okay, everybody. Well, have a good week. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.